Weekends on UME Radio. Get the UME Radio app.
Are you ready for the weekend?
Oh, yes, girl. Get your cup of tea and mic check, 1, 2. I am so ready.
To inspire, motivate, and educate. Weekends on UME Radio. The sun is up and so are we.
News, interviews, hot topics. Connect with us. Let us know what's on your mind. Follow, comment, subscribe.
We're everywhere. UME Radio app, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, iTunes, TuneIn, and all other digital platforms. Email us info@umeradio.com. On WhatsApp, 201-503-6731. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, all at UME Radio. Follow me, Jessie, on Instagram at ink.jess, that's ink.jess, and on Facebook at Jesselyn Abel, that's JESSELYNE, Abel, ABEL.
And follow me, Marsha J, on all social media platforms at official Marsha J. Or you can just check out marshajnow.com.
Weekends on UME Radio with Marsha J and Jessie.
Amplifying the voice of positive influencers.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell. Weekends on UME Radio. Get the UME Radio app.
Are you ready for the weekend?
Oh, yes, girl. Get your cup of tea and mic check, 1, 2. I am so ready.
To inspire, motivate, and educate. Weekends on UME Radio. The sun is up and so are we.
News, interviews, hot topics. Connect with us. Let us know what's on your mind. Follow, comment, subscribe.
We're everywhere. UME Radio app, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, iTunes, TuneIn, and all other digital platforms. Email us info@umeradio.com. On WhatsApp, 201-503-6731. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram and Facebook, all at UME Radio. Follow me, Jessie, on Instagram at ink.jess, that's ink.jess, and on Facebook at Jesselyn Abel, that's JESSELYNE, Abel, ABEL.
And follow me, Marsha J, on all social media platforms at official Marsha J. Or you can just check out marshajnow.com.
Weekends on UME Radio with Marsha J and Jessie.
Amplifying the voice of positive influencers.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell.
Good morning. Hi. It's so good to see you. I missed you. Your host.
I love you guys. Could you hear me well?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me well?
Yes, I'm trying something new, so hopefully it stays that way. But yeah, guys, girl. I miss you guys. So just to tell you guys what happened last week, I don't know what happened exactly. I don't know if it was some weird 24-hour bug, but Saturday, like, it was really, Friday into Saturday, all day Saturday, and even part of Sunday, I had like a weird sinus headache thing, and I knew that was like allergies kind of related. But I also had cramps, and the only way I could describe it, I guess, is like gripe, like, you know, babies have gripe, and it's like, I don't know, like it hurt. It was a nausea that hurt. It hurt to move. It hurt to like to get up to eat something, and it was like half my body was telling me, you're hungry, and I'm like, yeah, I know I'm hungry, but the other half was like, girl, if you eat anything, you're going to throw up right now. So I just had like saltines and tea. And I don't know if that hot water kind of helped. I don't know what was going on in there. But it was for like a whole day and a half. And I'm just like, I can't.
Listen, I know those types of bugs very well. And they are not cute. Okay, guys? Have you ever had that 24-hour bug? Type that in the comments because listen, it's the worst. Absolute worst. But guess what? I'm so happy you're here. We missed you last week was heavy without you. Let me tell you of my version of last week. because it was the whole week of prayer special edition and Jesse was not in the room. I was like, "Ah." But listen, of course, at UME Radio, we have the most supportive staff, most supportive team, I would say, not staff, but team. Shout out to DJ Kelly for just being supportive last week. Big up your good, clean self, girl. Yes.
Love
So
it.
we missed you, but yeah,
I'm here now.
I'm glad you're here today.
I'm here today. And I want to say good morning to everyone, guys, and welcome to Weekends with Marcia J and Jesse. And we are looking at an awesome season. I think this season so far is absolutely great. And we're actually on episode 10 of season 2. So we want to say a big thank you to all our partners, supporters, listeners, and viewers from all around the world. And we'll be having conversations to help you. So please join us in the comment section down below. Let us know if it's, entertaining, motivating, inspiring. And if you need any advice or answers to a question to help you grow, leave it also in the comment section below. Or you could email us at info@umeradio.com. It is our hope that this family program will become a resource for you to be inspired, motivated, and educated. Welcome to Weekends with Marcia J and Jesse on UME Radio. I'm Jesse, and I'm here with my amazing host,
Marcia J. But before we go any further, Jesse, what's been going on in your world? Let's talk about that. Any new projects? Any new things? And then we'll just.
Yeah, so I'm low-key just started just started working on like my second poetry book.
Ooh, yes.
I got the title called Cocoa Soil, and I got the breakdown of 4 sections that I want it to have. So I'm working on that, and I celebrated a birthday on Tuesday. Chapter 27. We'll see where this goes.
I love it.
Yeah. What's up with you? What's been going on?
Well, listen. So this new venture, y'all have just known me as DJ Marcia J. And now I have been honored to take on the task of radio manager for UME Radio. And so I feel so honored and blessed. Yes, I studied media in school, but if someone told me that this was coming, I would have said, nah. Most persons that watch know me as a recording artist and other things, so this is a very new venture and I'm super excited. And of course, they would also know me as the CEO for Royal Events or / Simply Weddings, where and it's just coming together between radio and doing events and all of these things. I'm looking forward to a great combination of my world. And as soon as we talk about the UDMI ebook, we will at some point in the show, it's so important in your branding to make sure that you're not doing several things, but you're only doing one thing that actually connects, right? And so managing the radio station, having the event thing, I see how now it's coming back with LTR. Shout out to DJ KTE and Lady Misty for that program. So now I find where I can provide support, or we can provide support after you get married, because based on my own research, one of the number one concerns of couples is that within the first year of marriage, after the premarital counseling, they have absolutely no support and don't know where to go. And so also out of that, coming up, and you'll hear more about that as time goes by, is our family empowerment program, because that's what we're here to do on UME Radio. We are here to empower and to help people of color and families of color, especially, not that we don't touch other races too, just become better, become more, see the possibilities, the endless possibilities of even the family being a whole brand. We're tired of broken families. We're tired of hearing about divorce. Divorce is at an all-time high right now.
Yeah.
So be the change you want to see. That's what I say. And that's what's happening in my world, girl.
That is awesome. I'm excited. I am so happy for you. That is we got to get that. And I like that you mentioned that also, because like I feel like when people get married, you have that support initially, and then within that first 1 to 2 years, they're like, that's like the highest rate of divorce between two.
I know.
It's
Like, it really is. And then the only questions, the only questions couples get asked is, when are you gonna have a kid? And there's so much more before even that
having
happens.
A child.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so let's talk about what's coming up.
All right. So before we do that, I need to tell you guys where you can check us out, because we're not just on YouTube, if you guys don't know. We could also be heard at the following apps. We're on the Apple App Store, Google Play Store, iTunes Podcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, Google Podcasts, Podbean, TuneU, Live 365, Spotify, Stitcher, and Player FM, and Listen Notes. And also, if you are on YouTube, go check out in the description bar down below for some special discounts from the following places. We got Google Workplace for you. We got Amazon, Aquasana, Shop Macy's, Shop Simply Wholesale, Incorporate, Smarter Loans, Recover Pro, Get Your E-commerce store, Start Your Own Podcast, Refer, and earn up to $250. So
Yep.
Discount.
And yeah, you know, we are just, you know, having some great partners that is on board with us, guys. Make use of these partners, and remember, through us you also get discounts. Who doesn't like discounts? No one. So make sure that you check it out in the comment section below. If you are on YouTube, that is. But if you're listening, go on over to our website and just have a ball. That's all I'll say. Our website has been recently revamped by UDMI, and it's just absolutely amazing. All the features, even if you're listening outside of the US, there's an international player that's there. And quite a bit to do when you go over to our website. And of course, we have our mobile app. Guys, come on, connect with us. Connect with us on the mobile app. If you're somebody that's on the go, yay, do that. Did you know that we even have a Bible on our mobile app? Come on now, people. Different versions. Let's get real. Yeah, and we have a picture that's up on our screen right now. So we have Fan Power, we have offers, we have the news, we have Get Involved. And listen, if you're a brand and you want to be on our show, we have guest appearance, ways to listen, mentioned that before, Voice of Truth that's coming soon. If you want to advertise with us, live shows, DJ Top 5, we'll talk about that a little bit later. And of course, we have our different programs that happen. We have Finding Happy with Coach Raquel. We have LTR. We have Voice of Truth coming on board. And you can find the deals over there, guys. Come on. Get it on your Google store, like Jessie said, and all that good stuff. Right? Yeah. So visit our website, guys. Awesome. Awesome stuff. That's all I have. Can you say upgrades? Did we just get an upgrade?
They will let me upgrade you.
Yes. I know. Awesome countdown. Thank you so much. See, I told you we have an amazing team here at UME Radio. As a matter of fact, guys, if you want to intern with us, let us know. You definitely don't want to miss out on all this awesomeness and all this great teamness. Yes. Understand? Yeah.
So I want to let you guys know what's going on in today's show because it's nice. It's nice. I mean, it's always nice, but today we got you. So we're gonna start with our morning inspiration, and specifically our devotion. Thank you to First Devotional for this content, and then we're gonna follow up with the news, front page in the New York Times, and then loop in Caribbean and African news. We have our spotlight with Lauren Carter, Women on a Mission. After that, we have awesome, amazing returning guest, Coach Raquel, talking about 21 behavior change, 7 reasons success requires strategic praying. That is key right now. Then we're going to go into our lifestyle segment where we talk about wealth, wellness, and one day at a time living. So in wealth, we're going to talk specifically about tithing. We're going to talk about this one celebrity that you guys all know, LL Cool J. You'll see what he's doing. After that, we'll do our wellness segment, and that is going to be on Biden and him. Excuse me. Whew, that was, I don't know what happened, but Biden on the vaccine rollout, and he's been getting a positive rating because of this. So we'll see what that's all about. And one day at a time living, we are going to continue our 100 hacks that will save your life. So I'm excited for that. Yes. I know you guys really liked that one a couple weeks ago. Then we're going to have another spotlight of our week of prayer review. Let us know what you guys think about that if you guys tuned into that. We have our talent segment coming up at 10 o'clock with our returning guest, Miss Michelle McIntyre, an author. After that, we have our competition, 1025, our DJ competition, DJ Top 5. Yes, we got another spotlight at 1040, UDMI free ebook. So you guys know all about that. I mean, if you guys don't have it already, what are you doing? Then we have our quiz competition that relates to the Bible. So you guys stay tuned and get your Bibles out so you guys can play along with us, okay?
Get your Bibles out.
Or paper. Or actually download the UME Radio app. Go to Tools and your Bible's right there. Easy.
Come on now, girl. Preach.
Easy. 10:46, we're going to almost end with Because We Can, our awesome philanthropy segment. And we're going to specifically talk about Sebastian Braham Ministries and their charity. And last but not least, we have our picture of the day, first vaccine shot by Bev Brown in Jamaica.
Awesome. And so with that being said, let's go into our daily devotion. So our morning devotion today is brought to us by the Daily Bread, and we will be looking at the topic of windows. So when you think of windows, what comes to your mind? Let us know in the comment section. When you think of windows, what comes to your mind? And our focus text for this morning comes to us from Isaiah 55 and verses 12. And it says, "You will go out in joy and be led forth in peace." All right, so I'm going to read for you Isaiah 55 verses 6 to 13. And this is from the Amplified Bible. And it says, "Seek, inquire for, and require the Lord while he may be found. Claiming him by necessity and by right. Call upon him while he is near. Let the wicked forsake his way and the unrighteous man his thoughts. And let him return to the Lord, and he will have love, pity, and mercy on him, or for him, and to our God, for he will multiply to him his abundant pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, says the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. For as the rain and snow come down from the heavens and return not there again, but water the earth and make it bring forth and sprout, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall my word be that goes out from my mouth. It shall not return unto me void, meaning without producing effect or useless, but it shall accomplish that which I please and purpose, and it shall prosper in the thing for which I sent it. For you shall go out from the spiritual exile caused by sin and evil into the homeland with joy, and be led forth by your leader, the Lord himself, and his word with peace. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. Last verse. Instead of the thorn shall come up the cypress tree, and instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle tree. And it shall be to the Lord for a name of the renown, for the everlasting sign of jubilant exaltation, and memorial to his praise, which shall not be cut off. The word of the Lord. Near the foothills of the Himalayas, a visitor noticed a row of houses without windows. His guide explained that some of the villagers feared that demons might sneak into their homes while they slept. So they built impermeable walls. You could tell when a homeowner began to follow Jesus because he put in windows to let in the light. A similar dynamic may take place in us. Though we might not see it quite that way, we live in a scary, polarizing time. The enemy and his demons instigate angry divisions that split families and friends. I often feel like hiding behind my own wall, but Jesus wants me to cut in a window. Israel sought refuge in higher walls, but God said their security lay in him. Are you worried about your security? He reigns from heaven, and his word governs all. That's Isaiah 55, 10-11. If Israel would return to him, God would have mercy on them and restore them as his people to bless the world. He would lift them up, ultimately leading them into a triumphant parade. Their celebration will be for the Lord's renown, for an everlasting sign that would endure forever. Sometimes walls are necessary. Walls with windows, though, are the best. They show the world that we trust God for the future. Truth is, our fears are very real, but our God is greater. Windows open us to Jesus, the light of the world, and to others who need him. And this was written by Mike Whitmire. How many of us have walls up and absolutely no windows? Something to think about. How do you even breathe without windows? Some of us have walls that are four-sided. Some of us have walls that are one-sided. And I know about walls because the truth is, when you put up a wall, it's simply because there is doubt, there is fear, there is no trust, there is uncertainty. But the invitation today is to create a window for the light of Christ to shine in. And the truth is, everyone, once his light begins to shine in through that window, it begins to work on the walls, because you begin to realize that, one, you are not alone. Two, hi Melinda, good morning. One, you're not alone. Two, with Jesus, you are safe. Because the word of the Lord says, the plans I have for you are greater than the plans you have for yourself. But the question is, can you trust him enough And can you trust the process that he is taking you through? So, would you say your life is more of a wall or more of a window? And you can type that in the comment, right? Why? Is there a person or a situation or even God that you need to open up to? Something to think about. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, flood our hearts this morning with the confidence of your love. We are so thankful to be in this space and time, oh God, where you can minister to us. Father, we thank you for this time where we can commune with you and talk with you and listen to you and allow your words to penetrate our hearts. Lord, we thank you for each and every viewer this morning. I pray that you will touch them and you will meet their needs, meet them wherever they are. I pray for the team and our guests this morning, oh God, that you will shower down a very special blessing. We thank you for those who are listening on the different platforms this morning, wherever they are in those 70 odd countries, whatever loneliness or deliverance that they need, you are the need meter. You are Jehovah Jireh, our provider. You are Jehovah Shammah that is always there. Help us to be open to your love. Help us to create windows. Help us to be wise in our interaction with others, knowing that you are right there. And for those of us who are fearful, hold our hands. Bring us peace and comfort. Father, we put this program into your hands today and we ask you to bless it. We ask you to breathe upon it as we give you thanks. In Jesus' name, amen. Awesome word this morning. Windows. Oh.
And I needed that. I get mini testimony real quick because I honestly did not know it was gonna be related. Literally last night I was up in the wee hours, 1, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, could not sleep, my mind was just going on every other situation going on in my life. And I was doing work just to be like productive, thinking that like, oh, if I be productive, I will eventually fall asleep because I'm tired. And my spirit was just like, just pray about it and just come to God with everything. And I'm like, I need to get up for the show. It's like almost minutes to 4. I got to get up around 7. Like, I didn't even sleep. Like, what is going on? And I prayed. And then at the end, I was like, I cried. I mostly cried. And then I was just like, I just need peace in my mind and my heart to get some sleep so I can wake up sound and feeling full. And I tell you, Marsha, I got pretty much 3 hours of sleep, but it feels like 8. That's how much peace and sleep God put me in.
Wow. That's awesome,
So,
Jessie.
Mini testimony, real quick. I did not know it was going to be related to it, but sometimes if you guys have that feeling to pray and you don't fight it, just do it. Just do it.
And it also goes to show that he really is looking out for us and he really does love us. I think it's because he's not like a person in this moment.
Right.
Like you can pick up the phone and call. So sometimes our faith, our belief that, okay, he's some spirit that's just way out there, but he's really what I call a personal Jesus. You know? He's just right there and he knows what you need. It's like that person that just studies you and knows you. And he's just there, like even before you know you need help, he just like reaches out and say, hey, do this, do that. Yeah, I love it.
Listen to me. But that was my testimony.
It's an awesome relationship. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Jessie, let's get into the news.
Okay, guys. So we're gonna do the front page of the New York Times first. I think we're gonna have it pulled up in the back, but let me read it off for you guys. So the big one right now is in Indianapolis. Whew, it's sadly third massacre in 3 months, and there's a picture right in the center there of looks like police with a body that happened, transporting a body that happened this past Thursday, and it gives a listings of partial mass shootings in 2021 so far. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's out of Indianapolis, Rock Hill, South Carolina, Texas, California, Essex. I think that's MD. I think that's Maryland. Boulder, Colorado, Atlanta, another Indianapolis, Muskogee, Oklahoma, Indianapolis, and Evanston, Illinois. About that, if you guys have not heard, there are 8 are killed at FedEx warehouse. Gunman once worked there. In Indianapolis, he appeared in the parking lot afternoon in a dark hoodie with a gun, who immediately began spraying bullets in every direction. He stepped into the FedEx warehouse, a place where he had once worked, and continued shooting, firing into the open, according to one witness. He shouted unintelligibly as he fired off round after round, and then before the police could even arrive, he had killed himself, leaving in his wake 8 dead and at least 7 wounded. Scrolling down, why workers choose Amazon over a union. When Graham Brooks received his ballot in early February, asking whether he wanted to form a union at Amazon warehouse in Alabama, where he works, he did not hesitate. He marked the no box and mailed the ballot in. After almost 6 years of working as a reporter at nearby newspapers, Mr. Brooks, 29, makes about $1.55 more an hour at Amazon, and is optimistic he can move up. I personally didn't see the need for a union, he said. If I was being treated differently, I may have voted differently. Unlikely savior of a landmark for book lovers. I love book. I'm a bookworm. Veteran Gregorian. Sorry if I butchered your name, sir. The ebullient Armenian immigrant who climbed to pinnacles of academic and philanthropic achievement, but took a detour in the 1980s to restore a fading New York Public Library to its place at the heart of American literature. He sadly died Thursday in Manhattan, and he was 87 years old. Let's go on to here. At Ukraine border, Russia bears military might. Pleading guilty rioter at Capitol will aid inquiry. And last but not least, Biden waivers on restricting refugee entry. Backlash over retreat from a big increase. Washington. The White House announced on Friday that President Biden will limit the number of refugees allowed into the United States this year to the historically low levels set by the Trump administration, reversing an early promise to welcome more than 60,000 people fleeing war and persecution. But the move to cap the number at 15,000 prompted such immediate backlash, from Democrats and human rights activists that the White House later retreated and promised to announce a final increased number by May 15th. The White House press secretary Jen Psaki did not specify how many refugees would be allowed into the country, but she did say that Mr. Biden's initial goal of welcoming 62,500 seemed unlikely. So that pretty much, guys, is the front page of the New York Times.
Wow, a lot going on over there. Let's turn our attention to the Caribbean, and we want to thank loopjamaica.com for this information, just to kind of see what's on their front page. CXC, and that's our Caribbean Examination Council, announces major changes for regional exams. I want to know what's coming up there, because with the C19 thing, I want to see how they're going to approach it. Raul Castro confirms he's resigning, ending a long era. Can you imagine?
Wow.
That's interesting. Which sugars are good for you and which ones aren't? Local government ministry opens bank account to aid people. And let's turn our attention now to the hurricane season in 2021. So it is predicted that our hurricane season in the Caribbean this year is to mimic those of 1996, 2001, 2008, 2011, and 2017. Scotiabank funds scholarship for 15 UWI students. USAID provides 100,000 US dollars in volcano aid to St. Vincent. United Way of Jamaica launches relief fund for St. Vincent. Digicel donates, and that's a telephone company. Digicel donates $500,000 US for urgent relief in St. Vincent. UWI application deadline extended until May 19. Large explosion at La Soufrière volcano dome collapses. And they also have an ashfall video story, scenes of warrants in Barbados on April 11. And those are just some of the things that are happening. And of course, regional leaders mourn Prince Philip. Right, so that's just some of the things that are happening in our Caribbean news this week. And then we go over to Africa. And we want to thank africanews.com for providing these headlines for us this morning. So we have bulldozers and looting threaten Libya's ancient treasures. 5 women reach high office in Libya's government, but long road ahead. Tusina Said visits Libya, first presidential trip since 2012. Patients evacuated after fire at South Africa hospital. Kenya's champion marathon runner, Kibochi, ready for Olympic comeback. As Castro dynasty turns page, Cubans remember fighting in Angola. Cape Verde tourism industry battered by the coronavirus pandemic. And on the editor's choice, we have US rapper and actor DMS dies of massive heart attack, age 50. 3,000-year-old lost city found in Egypt. Niger drone company takes off in Sahel. And over in Chad, women hold decisive vote in upcoming presidential election. About 80% of Nigerian towns flee after 3 attacks in 1 week. Much needed food aid reaches Central African Republic. And we have Congo's Denis Sassou Nguesso sworn in for a 5th term. Wow, a lot going on over there in Africa. And that's our African News Roundup for today, Jessie.
Wow, that's a lot going on. Very interesting, but some of those stories, especially, I don't know if have you heard the volcano in St. Vincent that's going on?
Yes, I think they've pretty much cleared evacuation, but I can just imagine what's going on with the economy that's there. And I'm so happy because primarily, if you heard the news a while ago, most persons are sending aid from different countries. Yeah. So at the core, I guess we're all supportive of each other, and that's something to compliment, especially for us as people of color. Yeah. Awesome stuff. And very inspiring. And speaking of inspiration, we're going into one of our favorite segments this morning with one of our favorite persons. Jessie, would you please introduce her?
Yes, of course, I will. Talked about Coach Raquel. So if you guys are new to our channel, you guys are new
Hold on, Jessie. Did you know what we just missed? We just missed our spotlight feature.
I do our spotlight.
Our spotlight feature inside our new segment today will be about Lauren Carter, Road to City Council. And this week, we are going to look at her mission. So if you have been following us here on UME Radio, or if you are a subscriber to our news and things like that, Lauren Carter is a Democrat that is running for City Council, and we are so happy to be supporting her. And she was on our program, Let's Talk Relationships, last Monday, as she spoke about her mission. Her mission. And that is absolutely important for anyone who wants to run for any type of office. And we were so happy to have her last week, Jessie, when you weren't here. She was here. And then on Monday, she came back to speak about her mission. I know she's watching. So, Miss Carter, good morning to you. And, we're so happy to be supporting you on the campaign trail. Yes. And so we have a copy of the article on our screen. Continued conversation with Lauren Carter, a woman on a mission, road to City Council. Now, Jessie, my screen is frozen, so you're going to have to take over from here.
I got you. So it says, Ernest Yabua, hope I said that name right, penned the phrase, "The great works we see are just ideas until they receive the real energy, which transforms ideas into tangible artifacts. When you conceive an idea, it finds its energy, compassion, commitment, and service. These are the characteristics that define my life's purpose." This is from Lauren Carter, tells UME Radio on last Saturday's Weekends with Marsha J. and Jessie. In a follow-up conversation with Lauren Carter, Democrat for Mount Vernon City Council and the woman on a mission to restore her beloved Mount Vernon to its former glory, she shares her thoughts and insights into the tools that make a city thrive and her plans on how to restore and reposition Mount Vernon. And she states, "My mission, first and foremost, is to be a servant leader, to listen to all stakeholders and ensure I am always accessible. It is my goal to help improve the city when I am elected as a member of the City Council," she tells us. "I believe quality of life is the very foundation of a good city. We don't want a mediocre city. We don't want a second-rate city. We don't want a substandard city. Lauren is clear that having a mediocre second-rate..." Okay, guys. Oh, we got it? We got it back up. Okay. Lauren is clear that having a mediocre second-rate and substandard city will only lead to further decline. Should she be elected, we can look forward to her addressing issues such as littering, dog feces that is not properly disposed of, and superintendents that place trash on the street for sanitation pickup far too early. All right, guys, and that's a beautiful picture of Miss Lauren Carter in a really nice pink dress with a matching pink lipstick. So, yeah.
Yeah, and of course, as we always say, we're so happy to be supporting her. Visit her website, guys, LaurenForCityCouncil.com, and you can play a part in the change that we want to see. You can volunteer, you can give a gift. You can communicate with her from that website. She'll be more than happy to speak with you, communicate with you from that platform, as well as you can look at her mission, the issues, and different engagements that she has. Show your support, guys. Once you visited the link, pass the link on. Let someone know that there's someone out there that cares, someone that is willing to target the issues. Pay attention to these articles because it speaks especially to her qualification. She's not someone that just thinks change, but she actually has the experience working in civil service for a number of years. And then she's currently doing her master's in city development and things like that. Forgive me if I don't get the correct terminology right, but she's actually putting in the work. She has the experience, she has the education, she has a full-blown plan to ensure that the glory of Mount Vernon is actually restored. Get involved, join Lauren, sign up now. Could you go back to that page, please? And in more detail, how it is that you can actually support her on this campaign journey. So you can donate, as I said before, you can make calls. right? Press and promotion, and you can also be a part of her fundraiser. Don't think it's hard. What can you do? What are the gifts that you have that can complement what Lauren is doing for the community? This is your community. This is where you live. This is where your kids live. This is a part of the legacy. Are you satisfied with what you are seeing in Mount Vernon currently? And how do you plan to collaborate to ensure that change happens? Do it. Visit the website, laurenforcitycouncil.com/get involved. Right, Jessie?
Yes, yes. I mean, it only takes one person to start the movement,
change.
And start the change. And the little that you do, you share that with another person, it's really, really going to be a positive movement. And we have our upcoming guest, Coach Raquel, saying thumbs up to people of color leaders everywhere. Yes, we need to see more people of color as political leaders, because we're the ones that are, in the city and living and learning and knowing, what we really need. So yeah, guys, you have to go up and support her.
Definitely. Still inspiring. And with that being said, we have another inspiring guest that's about to come on. And she is none other than Coach Raquel. And today, inside our behavior change segment, we are going to be looking at 7 reasons success requires strategic prayer. Now, we thought that this topic needed to come back. She did it on finding happy during the week of prayer, but a lot of people do not necessarily connect success with praying. And I'm sure she's going to expound on that. But for those who do not know who she is, Coach Raquel is a proven strategist, beneficiary of the E. Cornell Bank of America Women's Entrepreneurship Award at Cornell University, where she completed certifications in entrepreneurship. She's also a certified career coach. See, as a child, Coach Raquel endured the countless challenges of poverty firsthand, which ultimately shaped her into the compassionate, courageous individual that she is today. And in overcoming such hardships, she has become adept at helping others avoid these and other pitfalls of career and life to step into the best versions of themselves possible. Above all, with over 15 years of leadership experience, she is a true advocate of positive change in the 21st century, helping individuals and companies achieve their goals. Welcome, Coach Raquel. Welcome back. Good morning.
Hi, thank you for having me. Can you hear me? I'm not able to hear you while I'm presenting because I'm trying to avoid the feedback and I don't have a headset.
Okay, no problem. Go right ahead. We'll listen. We'll listen today.
So you just nod your head. You can hear me.
Nod and smile.
Thank you for having me on your show, and I'll get straight to it so that I do not take up too much of your time. Hello, everyone who's listening, whether you're on digital platforms or you're on YouTube or Facebook, social network. It's such a pleasure to be here to share with you today. And it is my hope that whatever I share with you today will be, will edify you, will help you shift paradigms so you can achieve your goals. So 7 reasons success requires strategic praying. Strategic praying, not just regular old praying, but being strategic about your praying. And of course, praying is connecting with the Creator, the God of your understanding. That's what I mean when I say praying. I mean having conversations with Him, engaging Him, seeking, having consultations with Him before you seek to establish anything. In our regular business life, before we start a business, we start with a concept note. In some places, some people just start a business, get some products and start selling. But the real way to start a business from which you would want to gain some success, some kind of win, there has to be some kind of strategy included. You do some research, you create you learn about the people who you want to serve, you learn about what you want to serve them. You do a concept note or a terms of reference or a research paper or whatever it is you want to call it, right? But you gather some data to understand, to prepare so that other people can understand what it is you're setting out to do. And also so you can design whatever the product or program or whatever it is that you're going to be offering to customers. Now, that is doing a part of doing our research. Sometimes we do consultations, right? We meet with different people. We meet our audience. We get a selection or a focus group from the people we're seeking to do business with, and we learn from them what their problems are, so we can understand how to devise the solution, right? We also go to different places and sometimes seek out partners to see who would be willing to join us on this journey called our business, to support us and promote us and uptake the services or refer the services. So there's a certain amount of consultation we do. We do research, we do consultation. Now, one of the key consultations that we must do is with God himself, the creator, the God of your understanding. Yes, to find out, is this even what his divine purpose for you is? So that's what we're talking about. So here are 7 these are my top 7. It doesn't have to be yours, but I'm sharing with you my top 7. Success requires unearthing potential, discovery of purpose, connecting with your community, or in these days, they call it your tribe. Yes. Your tribe. Your network is your net worth, so you need to have one. You need to establish one. Work doesn't reward, God does. Faith and trust, grace and favor. We are talking about 7 reasons success requires strategic thinking. Now, where we say unearth potential, success requires praying to unearth true potential, to unearth it, right? Mm-hmm. Now, I'm sharing with you a Bible verse from 1 Corinthians 2 and verse 9. This is the NIV version. However it reads, as it is written, what no eye has seen, what no ear has heard, and what no human mind has conceived, the things God has prepared for those who love him. Connecting with your potential is not a random, oh, this is my potential thing. You're a possibility, you're a potential, but in order to unearth your true potential, you have to seek God through prayer, because he has determined what our potential should be, what our outcome should be. And it is something no human mind can conceive, which is why sometimes, or most, well, for me, all the time, when I come up with a great idea, I'm just like, oh my gosh, where did that come from? Have you ever had that experience? Like, where did that come from? Wow, that was just okay, great idea, right? And here's a quote for those who may think, okay, I don't necessarily need to read the Bible because I may not believe in this, but there are other persons who have succeeded, who have also shared with us. For example, Jim Rohn was a motivational speaker, very successful. He said, the big challenge is to become all that you have the possibility of becoming. You cannot believe what it does to the human spirit to maximize your human potential and stretch yourself to the limit. We are still talking about the 7 reasons success requires strategic praying. Success requires praying, to discover divine purpose. And ladies, if I'm going over time, just lift your finger up and just kind of show me how many minutes I have left. Keep me on time, please. It's something I'm going through. I'm learning to stay on time. So the next one is your purpose is your why. And if you've ever heard anything from Tony Robbins, he speaks about this all the time. Your why. Your purpose is your true calling, your authentic vocation, your divine purpose, yes? And this is connected with your childhood trauma. You see, your pain is not just regular pain. It's connected with your purpose. Your pain serves others when used efficiently, effectively, when used divinely. We also are given the talents and the natural gifts that complements this. And a lot of times what happens is people are aware of their talents and gifts, but not necessarily purpose. Yes, in 2016, God had to jerk me and you're using my divine gifts to serve the wrong people. Recheck that. Yes, so I had to. Your purpose discovery is the process of unearthing your authentic vocation or true calling. Once discovered, you become your most authentic self, and you can learn and develop your unique skills, strengths, and talents based on your values and passions to pursue purpose in order for you to successfully chart a course for your career or success, to get the outcome you seek. Now, if you don't want to have successful outcomes, do whatever. It's like you're starting a business. If you don't want the business to succeed, if you don't want to make $1 million, then it doesn't matter what you do. Just get up and do. But if you want to win, then you have to be strategic. Now, Philippians 2 and verse 13 says, for it is God who works in you to will and to act in order to fulfill his good purpose. His good purpose. A lot of us are going to working thinking that working pays the bill. Lies we tell ourselves. Work will never be able to cover your bills. God does that. Grace and favor does that. 7 reasons success requires strategic praying. Another one is success requires praying to connect with your community. Now, if you don't have insight, if you don't have divine instinct, if you're not able to tap into the human resource think pool, how exactly do you plan to use your own concepts and connect with someone else's concept when they don't necessarily like you, believe what you believe, know what you know, have the pain that you have exactly as you do, understand who you are, and even understand this gift that you believe you have for them? How do you connect with them? Oh yes, we're gonna do infographics and videos and promotions and marketing and brochures and websites to communicate it. But how do you appeal to the heart of man? How does one appeal to the heart of man in a way that lets them trust you in order to invest in you, to pay you, to take their money and put it in your company, your business, your product? It requires God, darlings. It requires God. God will, consultations with God through praying will help you understand who to go to. There are a lot of people out there be struggling. I don't struggle money. Why are you struggling? If you have to struggle to sell your product, you're with the wrong customer. Go to God to find out who he wants you to work with. For example, in I think it's Judges. I have it, yes. Here's Judges 5 verse 7, and in our course, identify your ideal customer, learn your ideal customer. We have a course on Udemy, Mindfulness and Ministry Masterclass. If you want to check it out, you don't have to, but you can if you want to. We talk about the Deborah effect. God does not give a divine purpose without an intention for divine success, without having a particular audience for you to go to. He provides, he has your community, your tribe, whatever you want to call it. So in Judges 5 verse 7, NIV version, it says, villagers in Israel would not fight. They held back until I, Deborah, arose, until I arose, a mother in Israel. She had to arise. You have to rise up. Yes, because there's a community that's waiting on the divine purpose that you're assigned. Everyone is not your customer, Seth Godin said. When you speak to everyone, you speak to no one, Meredith Hill says. You can't be everything to everyone, but you can be something to someone, Andrew Davis says. Identify, learn your community, learn your customer, learn your own tribe and seek that tribe. That's how success is on earth. So we're talking about 7 reasons success requires strategic praying. I think we're at about number 4 or so. I'm not sure. Success requires praying to grow your network, to build your net worth. I'm getting a call, sorry. To build your net worth. Yes. Now you have your community, but then you have the people who support you. Your team, your network is what I call it. The network that you tap into, you build it and tap into it to empower you to be able to empower you and give you capacity to truly serve and meet the needs of your community, right? So You have to, you can't do it alone, and God did not send you for it to do it alone. And that's why for me, when he says love your neighbor, it means more to me than love your neighbor, because he said the more people you love, the more people will champion your cause, the more people will be able to learn and understand your vision and be able to support it. Yes, we just spoke about with Lauren for City Council. We're saying, hey, support her. You see, it takes a network. So here we are speaking on her behalf because we've connected with her. Yes, and she's made us a part of her network in whatever way, or we've decided to join her network because of we believe in what she's doing. I'm assuming, right? I don't think these ladies would just be talking about it if they did not have some kind of real support there. Right? So we need a network to support us. Gideon, it says in Judges 8 verse 4, Gideon and his 300 men, exhausted yet keeping up the pursuit, came to the Jordan and crossed it. His 300 men. He wasn't alone. The day we have this in the people of color community, and I speak about that because that is my community, and I think I have a responsibility to speak to that community. But in our community, we have this DIY business model that we think works, but it doesn't work. It just keeps us shackled to our worries and shackled to our issues, and we're just pouring out, but we're just never able to connect with the real rewards that God wants for us. We can't do it alone. Motivational speaker Jim Rohn famously said that we are the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. God has got to be one of those. Imagine if he's not one. What are we doing? 7 reasons success requires strategic praying. Success requires praying to gain rewards. Success requires praying to gain rewards. Be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. Ephesians 6:10. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Psalm 37:4. And he will give you the desires of your heart. Now, hear this one coming up now. Jonas Salk says, the reward for work well done is the opportunity to do more work. Oh, in this world that we live in, forget Jonas. Look at your own experience. What do you get for great work? More work. The better you are, the more work they want to give you because they believe you will bring outcomes for them. But my God, in Psalm, what does it say? He will give you the desires of your heart. It is God and only God that gives us the desires of our heart, not work. Work doesn't pay the bill. Do not get me wrong. You need to work with your faith. But understand that the reward comes through your connection with God. He must be the top of, well, even if he's not the top, it's up to you and your understanding of him, but he needs to be a part of your network. Success requires praying to cultivate faith and trust, and we have just one more to go, I believe. To cultivate faith and trust, you cannot win in business without faith. It's impossible. It's impossible. And you can't serve God without faith either. It is impossible. Ephesians 6 verse 10 says, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. And I remember the first time when this was repeated. It was not what I was intending. But I remember I got a message that says, you know, God knows what he's doing, let it be. Yes. Be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might. The smallest seed of faith is better than the largest fruit of happiness. Henry David Thoreau said that. The smallest seed of faith is better than the largest fruit of happiness. And the Bible says if you have faith as small as a mustard seed, what can come from that? Success cannot happen without faith and trust. You have to know God, establish a relationship with him. You have to have faith that he's going to send you the customers when you follow his precepts. And you have to trust that he's going to send you the right ones and that the outcome is going to be. Because success takes time and a whole lot of investment of time. A whole lot of energy. It will bleed you. If you ain't got something to hold on to, if you're not in divine purpose where you can see why you're doing this, you will never get to success. Anybody can make money. I say that all the time. You can walk down the road, lift your skirt or your pants, and you put your pants down, you make money. So if you're trying to seek success, that's a whole different ball game. So 7 reasons success requires strategic praying. That's what we're talking about. And the final one, oh my God, this is my favorite. Success requires praying to attract, oh God, grace and favor. The favor of God. You know what I've learned about the favor of God? When you're in God's favor, you can say to God, God, I have not yet generated the physical cash to pay my rent. Won't you connect with my landlord, God? Can you speak to my landlady, God? Can you speak to the bill collectors, God? Appeal to their heart that when they come to me, they'll have favor. They'll be kind to me. They'll be thoughtful to me. You see, a lot of times we end up in quarrels with people who come to collect the bills. Oh, I don't have it. I don't have it. Pray about it. Stop. Look at people. Don't look at the rent collector. Don't look at the bill collector. Look to God. You've got to look to God. And the reason we struggle sometimes is because we don't get that. But by the grace of God, but by the grace of God, I am what I am. And his grace to me was not without effect. No, I work harder than all of them, yet not I, but the grace of God that was with me. Oh my goodness. 1 Corinthians 15:10. I learned in 2016 I'm one of the hardest working persons you'll ever meet. And it took me quite a bit to realize that work will never be finished. If I'm waiting for work to be done to become successful, it will never happen. Because success comes from one source. Success is a divine divine process. That's why I say if you're not on divine purpose, you can't have success. Success is a divine thing. It's not some random thing. And sometimes we miss it. We don't get it because we look at people who we in our own understanding think they don't deserve success because they're not godly. Lean not to your own understanding. God uses people from everywhere all the time. He uses the willing. He uses the willing. God is not here for perfect people. And God did not send his son to die for the Christians or for the Jews. Or he sent to die for the world, all and all. He said, anyway, if you honor God, God gives you grace and faith. Since you can't buy it, since you can't purchase grace, you can't purchase faith, God Almighty, he gives it out to whoever he wants to have it. That's a quote from Steve Harvey. You've got to understand, success is a divine thing, a divine process. And the only one that can assign success is God alone. Any questions?
No questions at the moment. I'm going to
turn on my audio so you can ask me if you have any questions.
No questions. Just this is exactly to the T of what I needed to hear this morning.
Definitely. And the correlation between success and prayer is very critical because the truth is we will always come across situations that we have no control over. And I think sometimes for us as human beings, it's a control issue. We want to control all the elements that happen to us, but we just can't. And so man's extremity is God's opportunity. And whenever we come across difficult situations, that is when we need, well, even before that, we rely on our faith to get us through those times, because we're limited, right, Jessie? We are absolutely limited. Yeah. And Coach, we want to thank you so much for sharing with us this morning. As usual, powerful words, dynamic words, and words to live by. So if you are just joining us, you are inside Weekends with Marsha J and Jessie, and we just completed our inspiration segment with Coach Raquel. We have been having an awesome morning so far. We want to say good morning to Apostle Faith Walters from WAMO Ministries. Good morning to you. She's here every single Saturday, and so we want to give her a big shout out as usual. And she's commenting away in the comments. What are some of the comments that she has, Jessie?
So she first says, good morning to everyone, and then preach coach with exclamation mark. Awesome words, looking to God, who is the author and finisher of our faith. Amen. Work will never be finished. All when we're dead and gone, the work continues. So we're building legacies for the next generation. Great message, Coach Raquel. God bless you. Which is true, because if you're going to work yourself to death, we all going to die anyway, to be honest. And when we're dead, there's nothing we could do about it. We're up in heaven, hopefully. And the work is still there. They're going to find someone else to replace you. So why not, while you're here on earth, which you're supposed to do, is to do what God is supposed to, what God has for you. And that is to bless other people and leave a legacy behind, just like what Apostle Walters has said. Because once you leave that legacy behind, I think what people think when they're gone is that like they're not there, like they're not on the earth. And I keep reminding people, no, they're in our memories, they're in our heart. The spirit of that person is still there. You cannot see them, but they're still there. So what are you going to leave behind? What is your spirit going to say?
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. And prayer is also a lifestyle. And just to define what a lifestyle is, it is the interests, opinions, behaviors, and behavioral orientations of an individual, group, or even a culture. It's your own development of self. So the question is, are you deliberate and calculated to live the life you love, or to even create the lifestyle that would benefit you as a person? So what is your mindset in wealth, wellness, and day-to-day life? So wealth mindset is a set of beliefs, habits, and behaviors that separates the wealthy from the rest. We didn't say rich, we said wealthy, right? A wealthy mindset will guide you to make the most of the money that you have. And so I want to turn our attention to a very interesting article. And this article is about a very popular figure. His name is LL Cool J. Right? We know him as a rapper. We know him as an actor. And the truth is, a lot of times these persons don't really get the opportunity, Jessie, to talk about their lifestyle. And in this segment of Wealth Mindset, we want to look at him talking about the importance of tithing, and he credits God for his longevity in the hip-hop world. Can you imagine? We just talk about the correlation between prayer and success. Now, here is a testimonial of someone who is in the secular arena crediting, and tithing is a part of the word of God. We're going to put that article up in a quick second, but just by basic definition, tithing is literally giving 1/10, by basic definition, 1/10 of what it is that you earn. Some conversations will say that tithing is not just money, but tithing can also be 1/10 of your time. Interesting to note that if we were to tithe 1/10 of our time in terms of spending time with God, just guess how much that would be in terms of hours you spend per day with God? Roughly 2 hours. And it doesn't mean that those 2 hours have to be one shot. Some of us who are spiritually long-winded, definitely we can spend that 2 hours with ease. We have Apostle Faith saying, writing those books, sing those songs, write poetry, whatever God places in your heart, it's for the next generation to learn. Each one, teach one. absolutely agree with you. Absolutely agree with you, Apostle. And on the screen now, oh, and she has another comment coming in. She says, whoa, I say that tithing is powerful. One cannot afford not to tithe. It's covering over every aspect of your life. And I absolutely agree, and I have proven the power of tithing myself. And it does work, because God says he can't lie. And if he says it, it's going to happen. Now let's look at that article. Jesse, I'm not quite seeing it on my screen. My screen is frozen. So you're gonna have to help me out here.
Okay. So I have 4 eyes right now. So if the article could like be a little bit bigger, I might be able to see it. But I can't right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to open it on my system, but
Let's see if I could. Let's see. Anyway, so while we get this article coming up, can I share a real quick testimony about tithing?
Sure.
Real quick. So we're in 2021, 2019, going into 2020, I dedicated tithing, not just really financially, because I was going through a lot, but also strictly, I'm going to give at least an hour to 2 hours a day with God every single day. I would follow like my ministers online and or prophet or prophetesses and write down all my thoughts, write down everything. And at the time I was looking for another job. And I needed to get out of this job was driving me insane. And I was like, oh, let me apply to a job at a really prominent healthcare institution. And I was like, you know what? I'm probably not going to get but the gut was just like, just do it. So I'm like, okay, God, I'll do it. Turns out I ended up getting that. I went on like 6 interviews before I got this job. And all of them, my spirit just said, no, this isn't it. And people were looking at me like, what? This is crazy. You're turning down all of this? And I got the job at the institution for a year. And it gave me more money, easier travel time, and so much more benefits. And it was through that where people were just like, oh, did you use connections or whatever? I was like, no, I had no idea this was related to another person. I had no idea they knew each other. None. It was completely trusting God and knowing that once you follow in his footsteps, he will direct you which way to go completely. So that's
that's powerful.
My little testimony here there.
That's absolutely powerful. And I am able to pull up the article, but then it went again. All right, so okay, here we go. LL Cool J talks the importance of tithing, credits God favor for his longevity in the hip hop world. So rapper and actor LL Cool J appeared on Hot 97 in New York City for an interview where they discussed elements of his personal faith, including his tithing. When asked about his over 20 years career in the world of hip hop and how he's been able to maintain relevance all of these years with his music and acting in shows such as NCIS, for those of us who are science geeks, yes. He credited God and also discussed the importance of giving, more specifically tithing. And I quote, he says, I mentioned earlier longevity, versatility, and originality. LL Cool J said, what I didn't mention was spirituality and believing in God. He continued, every dime I get, no matter what it is, I give 10% to the church. I'm a lifelong tither. I strongly believe in giving. I believe you got to have faith. And I've seen it at work in my life, because as much as people in the world like to take credit and claim to be their own genius, at the end of the day, there's a higher power than you, and you got to answer to that higher power. And I'll stop there. So it's really good to know that people of color who are successful also have faith and they believe in the word of God. Going to the comments. Hey, Jesse, glad to have you back. God, they're feeling better. That's from Apostle. And then she says, now look at God. Great testimony. Trust him. He will work it out. Awesome. So for those of us who have been lacking in tithing, whether in funds or time, giving of your time, then now is a good time to reinstate that commitment or that practice in your life. Mindfulness in Ministry Masterclass says tithing works, and prayer too. When people who pray for you, that is worth more than, yes, girl, worth more than money. Support kingdom builders and watch God work. Absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Yes. And so that's our little chit chat today on wealth mindset. What is your wealth mindset when it comes on to tithing? Join us in the comments on YouTube or on Facebook if you're watching over there, and let us know, what are your thoughts? Have you tried tithing? Has it worked for you? And it's not even a matter of if it works. God said what he said, and he's not going to lie about it. So just testify about tithing to encourage other persons to tithe.
Yes, his word does not return void. And I want you guys to also, if you guys are liking this content, don't be afraid to like click that little thumbs up somewhere button, like on Facebook, love, I think, and share it. Share this information, because we're on a mission to empower 1 million people, and I feel like this is what people really need to hear right now, especially what is going on in the world. So yeah, don't be afraid to like and love and share and all of that. So yeah, we're gonna now go into wellness. Wellness is another really important topic when it comes to lifestyle. And today we're going to talk about the vaccine rollout, and Biden gets a positive rating. So if we could pull up that article real quick.
All right. So I think I have an article on my phone. I think the one that come up may not be the same. Biden nears 100-day mark, strong approval, positive rating for vaccine rollout. And I'm watching the screen to make sure that when it comes off, good to go. So Joe Biden approaches the 100-day mark of his presidency with a relatively strong job approval rating, and the public continuing to express positive views of the coronavirus aid package passed by Congress last month. Moreover, nearly 3/4 of Americans, that's 72%, they say that the Biden administration has done an excellent or good job at managing the manufacture and distribution of C-19 vaccines to Americans. Interesting. Now, quick detail on that. Biden's job approval at 59% as he nears the 100-day mark. And this is in comparison to Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, H.W. Bush, and Reagan. So the highest would have been Reagan, second highest would have been Obama, and the third highest with 59% would have been Biden. That's some awesome news. Currently, 59% Biden is handling his job as president, while 39% they think otherwise. Biden's job approval rating has increased modestly from 54% in March. That's a big jump. Biden's job approval is comparable to several of his predecessors, and we mentioned that. So, Jesse, good news. Good news.
Good news, yeah. It is good news. We have some comments that are coming in from Apostle Faith Walters, who said, actually, I thank you for this. Certainly going to utilize that message from LL Cool J to my sons. It's been a challenge trying to convince them, but this is good. Thank you. And she also says, yes, pass it on to the young ones. I don't know. Pass it on to them. All those young people. I'm one of them. Anyway, in regards to wellness, I'm tired of the vaccine epidemic amongst the pandemic. Too much controversy about it. Yes, I know. I'm tired too. I'm tired too, Apostle Walters. I mean, I work in the industry, and it's also like the one thing that people talk about. Like, it's kind of like a conversation starter now, and it's just like, I'm done.
I know.
Like, we're all going through it. We all know, we know that we know. So can we talk about something else? But
oh my gosh, poor Biden is having a ball with all these kudos with his management of the pandemic. Definitely. Right? And so with that being said, let's talk about some hacks, right? Everyone loves a good hack. It makes life easier, simpler, and it gives us remedies for unexpected life events. And today we want to share some more hacks with you.
All right.
Were you on for our last set of hacks? Let us know which one of those hacks spoke to you. And we have a comment coming in from Apostle. She says, that's great about Biden. His cancellation of student loans. He will certainly be a double plus money struggle with that. True. Cancellation of student loans. Let me just daydream about that for a second, because that sounds like a really awesome idea. For sure.
Yeah. I know he's doing federal, right? The federal loans? I think so.
Yes. He's trying to make the world a better place. And we applaud him for that. And if it comes through, then whoop-de-doo. Whoop-de-doo. For sure. All right. So let's talk about our hacks for today. I'm not sure what's going on with my computer, Jessie, but it's just not letting me right now.
I got you. Okay. So our hacks. We are going to start off. I don't know what number we're at, honestly.
We are at 8.
We're
about
at 8.
The newspaper part.
I gotcha. So number 8. Put an old newspaper at the bottom of your bin to absorb food juices. Okay, I don't know if people are still getting newspapers anymore, but that is good. Number 9, tumble dry shoes without ruining them. So if we have the picture up, do we have the picture up?
While they're getting the picture up, can we talk about that juice in the bottom of the bin thing? Because I just hate it when you try to bring out the garbage and then the bag isn't strong enough, and then everything just absolutely annoying. So I think that is a great idea in terms of having the newspaper at the bottom. And I will now ensure that even for because the kitchen bins, we have different types of bins in our houses, right? We have the bathroom bin, which is probably the tiniest. Then we have the kitchen bin, which is probably the second largest. And then we have the bin outside where the garbage is picked up. And so definitely lining the garbage bin is a hack that I love. For sure, guys. Even, in Jamaica right now, while we get pictures up, plastics are being banned. Because normally we'd use but there are certain sizes that remain in circulation. So we're thankful for that. Because everything is now online, the question now becomes, where do you find newspapers to line the bottom of your bin?
Right. That's what I said. Are newspapers even there here anymore?
Yeah, Apostle says it does work. I've done newspapers at the bottom of the bin. I didn't even know. I'm one of those young ones that don't know. So I am grateful for this information. But just in case there's newspaper floating around, once it's done, I know exactly what to do with it.
Yeah, I'm getting kind of spoiled with so the apartment complex that I'm in, it's just the one that I'm in, not just in New York or whatever. But I'm really spoiled to take out the trash, there's this big blue bin, right? And you have to put in your trash in the blue bin, and all you have to do is push the blue bin outside your front door for the apartment, and they're gonna come pick it up between 7 and 9 a.m. Monday through Friday. So I don't even have to like go outside to put it out. And I'm just like, I don't want to leave when I have to leave. Come
on, Jessie, come on, man. It's just the bin.
I know, but it's just to deal with the people and all. And then they even sent us like a note under the door saying if you guys don't put the blue bins back inside your apartment instead of leaving them in the hallway, then they'll take the service away from you. So I'm like, goodness. You know what?
Let's pull it back spoiled. In. I know. We're going to the next one though.
Tumble dry shoes without ruining them. And the picture has, two sneakers tied together by the lace, and you put one in the washer, let that wash or dry, whatever, and then you flip to the other one. Okay.
Listen, and that's if your dryer opens at the front. What if it doesn't? That's a whole other conversation.
Be banging on the front of that. Right. What's number 10? Oh, keep a card like this in your wallet, ideally in a highly visible place. It could save your life someday, which is medical info, emergency contact, any medications that you're taking, your blood type and allergies, especially allergies to any medications. That is great.
And even though that's like for a physical wallet, because I do have one in my purse. I'm not sure if ladies still do purses inside their handbags, but it's good information to have. But the virtual wallet, because especially if you have an iPhone, there's a virtual wallet that's on there, and there is actually an app, I think, where it collects like emergency information for a person as well. So you never know what can happen to you on the street, car accident, even though we know the first thing people will do is take out their phones to record. But just in case there's a considerate person that's in the area, they'll know exactly where to go if they're familiar with emergency contact information. I think it's a good idea.
That's great. That is awesome. Great.
What's the next one?
So number 11 states how to put away all your Christmas decorations, and it's just to use an egg carton and just recycle. That is.
Can I admit something on air without feeling like embarrassed? My Christmas tree is still up.
Marsha.
I love the season. What can I say, Jessie? Oh
I don't even know if it's like I don't want to say black card away because we know to keep it. We know this is culturally we take it down. Marsha.
Mindful Lesson Ministry says you should be embarrassed, and you are right. But I just had to put that out there. I like Christmas, okay? Seriously, guys. But this is a great hack. I never thought of using egg cartons. Now that I know, and that's one of the reasons why I haven't taken down my Christmas tree yet, guys, it's because to store them without hurting them has always been an issue for me. So I am totally gonna do that today. Now that I know, and I do have a few empty egg cartons, and I'm gonna put my stuff in and pack it away.
Guys, I'm gonna sip on that.
Is that the last one?
I think we can we do one or two more?
Sure.
Okay, so we have I forgot what number we're at. This was 10, 12, I think. When traveling, keep a bar of scented soap in the same compartment as your dirty laundry. It will keep your clothes smelling clean.
Absolutely right. As a matter of fact, you don't need to even travel. I still do that with my regular drawers at home. If I have, hold on, I have to put this comment in.
Yeah.
Apostle says, Marsha, don't feel bad. There's a house on my street that keeps theirs up all around 365 days for the year. It hasn't changed. Thank you, Apostle. I really appreciate that comment.
Okay.
I know. Very festive.
Marsha
very
and this one person.
Festive. I can't imagine what that home looks like all year round. But the soap thing though is very real. Like if I buy my packs of soap, normally people store them in the cupboards. I store them in my drawer because it just makes my clothes smell fresh. So when you're traveling, it's the same thing.
That's good. Thanks, Marsha, for that. I'm gonna do that. And I think we have time for one more. This one, 13, says cut a hole at the top corner of a juice carton so that it won't explode all over your table.
True. That's true.
You try this?
Yeah, it does work actually. But I mean, I've never really thought of it as an hack, but now that you mentioned it, yeah, it makes it easier to pour out. But you have to be careful because the juice will come through the hole. So don't make the hole too big. That's all I'll say to that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And guys, so those are our hacks for today. Let us know if you enjoyed the hacks or if you learned something that you never knew before. Now, normally I depend on like my mom and my grandmother to tell me about these little tips and tricks to go by, especially one week we need to look at hacks for washing.
Oh,
hacks
yes.
And
stains. Yeah.
Yeah. Apostle says, I love the soap idea in my clothes at home and travel as well. I think it's totally cool. I agree with you, Apostle.
Yeah.
For sure. For sure. All right. So now that we're through with hacks, let's talk about a week of prayer review, right? So if you have been following us for a while, and good morning if this is the very first time you're tuning into Weekends with Marsha J and Jesse. I am Marsha J. And
I'm Jesse.
I think I should be doing it on the other side. On my other side is Jesse, right? And we are part of UME Radio. And so we just ended a totally awesome week of spiritual upliftment. It was a complete challenge. Jesse, I don't know how far you got in the challenge, where it's more than just coming on air and praying for people. It's actually an assertiveness exercise that we did, different assertiveness exercises that we did for the entire week. And it was during the week of April 4 to 10. I can personally say, and Jesse will afterwards, it was completely refreshing. Especially, I want to thank the team for coming together to design this week of prayer because the activities were just phenomenal. And you can go back and check it out, even though the event is past. But to our partners, we had WAMO on board, we had GFIH, we had Jamaica Seminary involved, and we had the whole UME radio team, LTR, Weekends, Finding Happy, came on board, as well as those persons who tuned in from time to time, being a part of this great event. I think it was awesome.
Yeah.
It helped me. Yeah, go ahead, Jesse.
Oh, my favorite, honestly, and the one that I kind of struggled with, but I had to keep pushing, was the fasting part. Because partly for dietary reasons, and I'm on like a health journey to increase my food supply and stuff like that. So I really like somewhat struggled with that, but then it came to a point where I didn't feel the hunger and I was still felt full and whole and could go, like I was just like, if that 5 o'clock hit and I was just like, okay, time to go in, but there are times when I was just like, no, I'm good. Like I just really helped me dig deep in the word and use that as my source of strength. And I would say verses, over and over and over again. And it was what I needed. And I think it's something, like you said, Marsha, that don't just use this week as, okay, I did it for this week and it's done and, one and done. And these are practices that you can use, if once a month or every couple of months, when you feel that need, that call from God to dig a little bit deeper, to go extra spiritually, you could still practice that.
Yes, that's absolutely true. And Apostle says, the week of prayer was quite eclectic, ecstatic, enlightening, and inspirational. I was saying that it should be done every quarter. Ava, if you're listening, I know you are like, yes, that's what I was saying too. Ava is a part of our team. I was saying that it should be done every quarter. We need those reminders and assurances in these uncertain times. I absolutely agree. And we will definitely be bringing it back. It's a spiritual practice that we all should adopt, prayer and fasting. It really does help us to center and to hear God even clearer as we aim to get direction and whatever the needs are. It doesn't have to be direction, whatever your prayer needs were for that week and even beyond, and we try to put as many of them as on the altar as we could capture. So if you have been a part of the week of prayer and you see where your prayers have been answered, go ahead, email us, let us know that this is what we prayed about and this is how God has answered prayers. I'm looking forward to testimonies, Jessie. I really, really am, because prayer does work. Even if it doesn't happen at the same time, believe it. We looked at one of those scriptures, and I'm wrapping up, that says, when God says, from the moment you prayed, I heard you. From the moment you prayed, I heard you. And so it's important. And that's the message I want to leave as we come out of this segment. From the moment you prayed, I heard you. Yeah. And that's it for our week of prayer review. And I know that prayer has gotten us through some very interesting times. Apostle says, what a confirmation. Now look at God, always confirming the presence of 2 or 3 witnesses. Hallelujah. Exactly. I know without prayer, a lot of us would not even be alive. I can testify about that. But not only me, but we have a guest that is coming on right now inside Talent, right? Her name is Miss Michelle McIntyre, right? She is a Christian life healing and empowerment coach, CEO, singer-songwriter. She's a nurse, creator, and an author. As an overcomer of abuse, her duty, she says, is to help other women who are broken to be healed, thus the writing of her books. She has more than one books. Many words are spoken. Now she'll take us through the practical steps to healing in her new book, The Healing of a Broken Woman. We call her Sister Michelle. Lady Michelle, good morning to you and welcome. How are you this morning?
I think we're waiting for her to come in just a minute or two.
Okay. I just saw the message. All right. Let me tell you about a little bit more about Michelle. Right. So I met Michelle during doing music a few years ago, and I've always seen her on stage, knew that she was pursuing a career in music and medicine, but I did not know her story until I connected with her again afterwards at a conference at one of the branches of my local church. This was the very first time that I heard her full story, and she's gonna come on in a few, but I can't wait for you to really hear the full story of a young person who has gone through different levels of abuse, sexual abuse from her father, having to walk the road of forgiveness, and then going into a marriage that was just destructive and abusive, and to see God raise her up and her children. It's just, when I listened to her story, I cried. not feeling sorry for her because she's beyond that. I celebrate with her all the journey. It's just the journey. There's a saying that goes, God is not going to give us more than what we can bear. And when I listen to this young woman's story, I was like, God, you are absolutely amazing. Because, Jesse, even in this segment where we celebrate champions of the kingdom, I don't think I could go through that and live. And that's why we have ministries like WAMO that really help to pull people out of some dark places. You know, when we see a person smile, because all the time I'm seeing Michelle on stage and she's just beautiful and she's strong and she's just celebrating God. Before hearing her story, I would have never assumed that she had gone through so much and she's still standing. I would have just blacked right out. I don't know what I would have done, Jesse. And so I want to take this time to salute persons like her, not just Michelle, but persons like her who have been there. And Coach Raquel shares pieces of her story from time to time. And I'm still waiting on her to put out that awesome book that she has written. I can't say that my story was anything like that. No, yes, I've had some dark moments, but nothing like that. You know, and I salute these strong persons. Apostle Faith went through some times too, and she's shared that on the show before and even on her own platform. And I have to really salute these women of color for going through it and coming out better for it. And now because they're coming out better, so many persons are now benefiting. When I got Michelle's first book and I read through it, I was like, whoa. I had to purchase her book, and now she's out with a second book. So the first book, pretty much, and she'll share more about that, was the story. And then this book now is about something more, something so much more. I'm proud of you. Not sure if you have anything else to add, Jesse, but maybe you need to do a poem in salute to these women.
Yeah, I would. Maybe I could work on that within this this week. But I feel like a lot of people, particularly women, I don't want to say put up, because sometimes we know that we're doing it and some of it is just learned behavior from, you know, mothers or grandparents or something like that. But we go through a lot in our own way, and depending on how you react to it, you could come out one way or another. And with that then passes on to, you know, your children and stuff like that. And I follow Iyanla Vanzant, which I've heard rumors that her show is like starting to come to she's canceled her show. I don't know, heard rumors. But anyway, and looking at people who've went through different types of either like abuse or going through the foster care system, you know, and addiction or anything like that. And it's just seeing how strong that someone that may be, you know, and sometimes it could be your own mom and you don't understand, why is mommy like this? And why is, you know, until you then talk to that person as a person, realize their background, and you're just like, oh, I get it now, you know?
Yeah.
You actually heal from them telling you their story, because you're like, oh, this wasn't just she just wasn't like this, you know, they just weren't born this, you know, something happened to them. And I think it's powerful when someone is able to rise from the ashes. So
I agree. And with that being said, good morning, Michelle. Welcome to the program this morning. How are you?
I am doing well. Thank you for having me.
Yes, such a pleasure to have you. And of course, we salute you this morning. We were just talking about you before you came on. And just saying that we are so blessed by, well, I know I'm blessed by you and just sharing bits and pieces because I didn't want to say everything before you came on.
Okay.
But tell us, start from the beginning, because before you got to this second book, there was a first book. Give us a synopsis of your story, your testimony behind your journey.
Okay. So I am an overcomer of child abuse. And I say that with a smile because God has been amazing. I was raped, molested, beaten by my father, biological father, for many years, all while battling a terminal illness. And all of this while being a Christian because I got baptized at age 5. And you would think that, okay, so I'm a Christian and you are exempt from the things of the world as we would look at it. And so I was so confused as to why this was happening as a child of God, because I did not understand or know anything about purpose, and having to get your own story and experience in order for purpose to be fulfilled. So back then for me it was just sheer torture. It was pain. I felt like I was cheated, like God was cheating me out of having a normal life. I was really ashamed of my story for many, many, many years. And so I hid that. I wore I wore so many masks back then because I was trying so hard for persons not to see the brokenness that was really me. It was not separate and apart from who I was. The brokenness was me. I was broken. And for me, it was ugly. I didn't know that anything good could have come from such an ugly story. Blessed be to God. I didn't know anything good could come from that. And so I hid that behind so many personalities. I hid that behind doing so many things so that persons wouldn't really see. But then when God was ready, He allowed my story to come out in the most unusual place. He allowed my story to come out, and from that day, He has given me the spirit of boldness to be able to share my story without shame. I was able, after sharing, to get on the road to healing, and thus my second book, Get on the Road to Healing. I had to experience all the rise and falls of that journey, and this is where my second book came from. But my first book tells my story. My first book tells my story, and just by telling my story, that in itself was healing. That in itself was deliverance, to be able to share, and not from a place of hurt, anger, revenge, bitterness, but from a healthy place where I was ready to share for the healing of other persons. So it was not for my benefit alone, but just to impact and change the lives of others.
That's a powerful sentiment, Michelle. I'm just going to take some comments from YouTube.
Sure.
Apostle Faith says, whoa, I'm hearing you speak about Michelle's life and I'm trying to contain myself because her story, it parallels mine. And of course, she says her book is coming out soon as well, and looking forward to hearing Michelle. And she just heard you. Yes, my mom, after how she's treated me, realized she was broken herself. Broken people hurt others. So healing is imminent. Girl, being Christian, quote unquote, makes it even worse because them hide behind the pulpit. It's not something that's been spoken about. If you do, no one believes you. Thank God for Him being there to protect and to take you through the process. Encouraging words there from Apostle Faith.
Wonderful.
Since sharing your story, what have been, because I know that out of this, you have, God has given you a brand. Because when I was telling them before you came on that when I met you, you were Sister Michelle, the music minister. But now there's so much more that's happening. And before we even get to the brands, let's talk about the impact of your story. What have been some of the testimonies that have come out of it?
All right. One of the most touching one is the fact that I was the first person in my circle, organization, whatever, that was brave enough to step out, that was brave enough to share. Because in some churches, things like these, it's just unspoken. You push it under the carpet and you get a blanket response or pray about it and God will take care of it, and you're just left like that. And so to be the first one to really step out and share and allow persons to see God from a different perspective, because the title of my first book is Overcoming Abuse by God's Design. And persons were like God's design? Why would you say that? Because no one could believe that God would allow something of that nature to happen for his glory. And so that was the most touching part when I shared. So many other persons that were covering, so many other persons that were living a lie began to speak. They were empowered by one of their own sharing. And so them getting to the place where they are now able to share their story, oh my God, healing was taking place. Persons were reaching out to get help. And the devil got mad because he wants us to live a life of a lie. He doesn't want us to get to that healthy place of healing and where we can share what he did and share how God took us out. So that, out of everything else, was the most impactful thing for me. Persons found freedom in now
Yes.
sharing their story, and God got the glory out of it. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Your freedom freed others. I have so
Trust
much
me.
questions for you, but not enough time. Can you talk to us? We're gonna get to your book shortly, but can you talk to us about the power of forgiveness?
Oh Lord. That it's freeing. Like you were given a life sentence and you were living that life sentence, and just by doing that one thing you got pardoned. And I mean, the gates of the prison just swung right open and you were able to walk out. That's what forgiveness does. So I realized that I was locked in a prison with my father. I was locked up in darkness with him. And in that space, I was a murderer. I was vindictive. I was a liar. I was deceptive.
Hold on. Let's take time with this. You were a murderer. For instance, where you felt like you could have killed him.
Listen, I pictured so many ways that I would kill that man. So many ways. So many. I was so creative in my mind, finding ways that I was going to catch him and I was going to kill him. So yes, I became a murderer at heart, because when he hurt me, I had no control. As an 8-year-old child, I had no control over what he was doing. I had no control of the situation. So when I became an adult, even though I was still a Christian, never left God. I was functioning everywhere. And as you know, Marsha, I was in the music ministry, and I was, yeah, right. But becoming an adult, I said, all right, no, this is my time to get back at him for what he did. And so I thought about so many ways that I was going to kill him. So yes, I was a murderer at heart. I was.
Awesome.
And so many toxic and negative emotions were spinning in my head and in my life at that time. And the bad part of it, Marsha, is that I was in ministry, and you cannot pour what you don't have inside. So it's what was inside that was being poured, and every time we open our mouth to sing or to share, we are depositing into others' lives. And it took me a while to realize that what I was sharing was mixed with toxicity, because of all these emotions that I was harboring. And I knew I had to get rid of it. And the only way I could have was to forgive. No, what made it even more difficult was that I was at a place where I had to forgive somebody that was not sorry. I
Wow.
had to forgive somebody without an apology. I did not get an apology. There was no acknowledgement that he did anything wrong. And look here, I did want to tear him apart because all my life I was waiting for an apology. Even that, I know it couldn't have changed anything, but I was waiting for an apology. But God showed me that I had to get to that place, that I had to forgive him, not for him, but for me. And I had to do that with an apology.
Thanks for
That
that. I remember you sharing a part of your story where you said that you even ended up having to save his life at one point.
yes, he
Talk
had
to us about that part of it. So
aneurysm.
you go from wanting to kill him to actually having to save his life.
Yes, he had and it was when I was in nursing school, so I wasn't fully trained yet, but I had gone through that aspect of my learning where seizures were concerned. And he had an aneurysm, so one of the vessels in his head ruptured, and he was having seizures. And mistake, it was the grand opportunity, grand opportunity because
I
he
can
was,
imagine.
frowning and easily he could have suffocated on what was coming out of his mouth. And in that moment, Marsha, can I tell you that the thought didn't even come to me to do that. It was after, after we as humans, like me, I said, Jesus, like why, But in the moment that thought did not come, I just wanted to save him. But even saving him was not, at the forefront of my mind. That's why I always say, if you're a good person, you're just a good person, right? And so in the moment, the same thing that I would have done for my best friend was the same thing that I did in the moment. So I just flipped the head to the side, and everything that was coming up just ran out. Waited until the episode had passed, and then rushed him to the hospital. And the same thing that I would have done for anybody. But the shocking part for me is that I did not know until after that during the episode I was there praying for him. It
Mm. Are you still hearing her?
I think your mic went out.
All right,
Are
Michelle,
you
you're
hearing
gonna
me
have
now?
to yes.
Okay.
You were talking at the part where you said that uh you were praying for him and you didn't even know.
Right. I didn't know until after my mom told me that I was praying for God to give him a second chance so that he would come to know him. And that's when I knew that I had forgiven him and my healing process had started, because healing is not overnight. But I knew then that once forgiveness came in, the healing process had begun.
So you moved from singer to nurse and author, coach, all of these things. Talk to us about, well, I'm interested to know too, like what's the relationship with him like after that? Was he still the same person even after you saved his life, or what happened?
All right. So being an adult, if you don't want to necessarily have a relationship with a person, it's not like when you were a child and you were forced to have a relationship with daddy. But we talk. It's not the best of like, oh, I'm the favorite daughter and he's the, it's not that, right? But yes, we talk. We've had occasions where we talk and still no apology, but hey, you understand? But we've had occasions when we talk. He has come to help me with stuff where life is concerned, and that is there, right? So
Understood.
while he's not at home where he was when I just moved back, he is, living at a different place. Whenever we see each other or have an occasion to talk, we do that. For years, I want to add this, for years, I could not have acknowledged Father's Day. Could not have acknowledged. I was so angry. And when I saw everybody posting up about their fathers and whatever, I was the one behind the scene being like, I just can't bother with them because I didn't want to hear about a good father. And it was after healing had taken place that I was able to say Happy Father's Day. And quickly, let me tell you how God did that. Marsha, I was reminded of some simple things that he taught me, good things. I could not have allowed myself for years to look on anything good where he was concerned, nothing at all. But then one year the Lord started to bring back. He taught me how to iron when I was 9 years old. He showed me how to use knife and fork. And some of these things just started to come. I was like, what? Because
where was all of this?
I allowed myself to appreciate any of those things. And the Lord allowed me to. And I was able that year to acknowledge Father's Day and show appreciation for the things that were good. That came
awesome
as a father.
Awesome. Persons are asking where to get the book, but we will add the link to buy in the description because I want to get your story in. And so there's one thing I wanted to talk about quickly before you get into your second book, and then you're going to tell us about the objective of this second book. We have comments going off in YouTube like crazy. You went into a marriage where it felt like history was almost repeating itself. Talk to us about that aspect of it and the birth of the second book.
All right. So marriage started off okay. I take the responsibility somewhat in the sense where for the marriage going bad. In the sense where I wasn't prepared for love. I didn't know what love was. I didn't have a clue, because remember that your father would have been the first man that would show you what love is supposed to look like, not on a man and woman sexual platform, but that pure love and appreciating yourself and all of that. No, that was messed up for me. Completely messed up for me, because before I was 8, my father was not living with us. So I the earlier part of my life, it was just myself, my mom, and siblings. And then when he came into my life, that is what he came in and introduced. And so that for me as a child was a display of love, to be abused, to be beaten, and all of that. And so I grew up being confused about what love should have looked like. And so going into marriage, this was the same, even though, you say you become an adult, and yeah, I know, but really I didn't. And so going into marriage and having, sometimes I don't feel like, but he feels like, and when you refuse, the aggression begins. Not necessarily an aggression that would lead to abuse, but once the sight of aggression comes, then there's a wall that is put up, and the wall that is put up and the defense now. So it's like I'm fighting back at this person that, probably at first just had the regular aggression that a man would have when he's not, when he's told no. And ladies, we know that they don't like to hear no. All right. And so that is actually where it began. My husband did not understand initially what was happening, because he did not know the extent of the damage that was done. He did not know the full story. And so I encourage women now, lay it all on the table before marriage, because if he's yours, he will stay. So lay it all on the table, because after the fact can cause a whole lot of damage. And so everything sexual, Marsha, for me was like I was being abused again, over and over and over, until abuse came in the picture. So, that just threw everything under the bus, and yeah, the bus crashed. Right.
Okay. Wow, so much, Jessie, so much going on right here. And I know somebody's definitely been blessed. We have some silent listeners on our platforms, and they are just absorbing the information. So the first book is about the what happened. And so the second book, tell us about the objective of that.
All right. So when I wrote the first book, which took me about 10 years, because I wasn't healed at first, and then I was afraid to tell my story. I didn't know how to get it out. But when healing came, I just finished the book in I think like a week or less
Whoa.
after healing took place. So the spirit of boldness just
Acceleration.
came, and then the writer's block that I was experiencing for 10 years just went. And so that book came. And I thought that that would have been my only book, right? I didn't see myself as a writer. I didn't see myself as that. I just knew I had a story to tell, and this was where the Lord was leading me. So that was it for me. But then more than one person's prophesied other books in my life. And I was like, you're crazy because, I wasn't seeing that. But then when I started to experience the fullness of healing, when I started to experience life, it was like I was just living. When I started to experience that, I'm like, I cannot keep this to myself. I have to share this with other women. And one of the other reasons is that after my first book, oh my God, persons reached out to me, Marsha, from all over the world, and
Wow.
sharing their story. And some of the things made my story look like foolishness.
Wow.
I was dumb to some of the things that I was hearing, like is a lifetime movie for some person's lives. And when I remembered after all of that, fanfare and the dust settled, and I look back at the stories, I'm like, I can't leave these persons out there on their own. I have to play my part. And while I know that there are a myriad of books out there about healing, there's a reason why the Lord allowed me to experience what I did. And there's a reason why He took me through the process of healing. It was not for myself. And so I started to write about, healing of a broken woman, and talking to women and women. That's my niche. And while I know that there are men who are abused, because some reached out to me also, but my real passion is for women, because if we are broken, our families are broken, our children, husband, everybody. So in order to save the family, I want to help to save the woman. And so I started writing the book. I did not go through the fast food process or the fast food healing. And so I tell everybody, my book is not about an overnight fixing. My book is about a process. Forgiveness is a process. Forgiveness is intentional. It's about actions. And healing is the same. It's not just to say, oh, I forgive you and oh, I'm healed. Trust me, I've said that for many years and it never goes so.
Wow.
So when the Lord allowed me to go through the steps or the process, I knew I had to share that so that others will know it's not just a word. It's not just using words. You have to be intentional about going through the process, and thus the healing of a broken woman. One of the other reasons for the book, Marsha, as you brought out the different things that I do, and persons would ask me, how you do this, that. And I would always say to them, I was so broken into so many pieces, but all my pieces had a purpose. And so when they came together, this is what you have. So you have the coach, you have the nurse, you have the music minister, you have the youth leader, you have all of those pieces. So while I was broken, the Lord was still using me. While you are broken, God will still use you. And when He would have put you together, the vessel that He puts together, and remember, now your scars are going to be beautiful designs on that vessel. When He brings you together, that vessel that you are now is used for so many things that it will blow your mind. I don't want persons to think that because you're broken, you're useless. You are not useless. All your pieces have a purpose, and that is why I'm here. I had a purpose.
Wow.
All of my pieces had a purpose.
Let's go to the comments. And I want to talk, well, one more thing before you tell us how we can connect with like your book and things like that. You have some beautiful children. And I just want to know how they have been impacted by your story. Because I see them just blowing up social media. They're getting awards and they're doing well. Let me just go to these comments. I'm not even sure where to start. Bev Brown, good morning to you. She says, that story reminds me of my own life. Apostle Faith says, girl, you're preaching to the choir about marriage. I was already eager. just connected because of a religious mindset. Thank you for your encouragement in the writing. Oh, thank you for encouragement in the writing of my book, because I was having some apprehensions about publishing it, having feelings of more abandonment and rejection. Once again, this is confirmation. Wow, all my pieces have a purpose.
Wow.
Hallelujah. I am touched by that about purpose.
Wow.
Yeah, awesome interview so far. Tell us about your children and how this has helped them. How has their journey been with you processing all of this? Is it easy
God,
for them?
God has been good, Marsha. Um, they say broken persons break people, hurt persons hurt people. Thanks be to Jehovah that I have not experienced that with my children. In the initial stage, I protected them. Well, somewhat no, I still protect them because I don't speak badly of their dad, in their hearing or anything that they're on or whatever. He's their knight in shining armor, and I'm gonna keep it that way, right? And so in the earlier stage of life, I protected them from the story. I wanted them to see their grandfather as their grandfather and nothing more. But when I was called to this aspect of the ministry, I knew that my life was moving from being private to being public. And having my life being public means that my children are going to hear. So I had to go through that where I sat them down before the first book came out, and I had to tell them the story. That was not easy. I mean, we were in tears. And there was disbelief, there was shock, and all of that. There was anger, and I allowed them to go through all of those emotions. I allowed them to vent, I allowed them to express themselves, I allowed them. And they went through that, they expressed, and so I was able now to respond to the different emotions that they were now showing. And so having been able to respond to all of the emotions, give them answers to the questions that they had, and they had questions, and I had to
Yeah.
give them all of that. After we went through that, the only concern was, Mommy, you all right? They were no concerned about me. And thankfully, at the time that I shared, I was all right. I was at a healthy place that I was able to share without them hearing that anger and that bitterness and whatever towards anyone at all. So when they saw the smile and they saw the that push and that everything, they were okay. And so it took a while for them to read the book. Took a while for them to read the book. They read a little, put it down because they couldn't face it. But then after a while, they did. And to God be the glory, it has not affected them. They have healthy relationships. They are doing so well in school. They are doing well in church. They are all in ministry. And God has just been faithful. My daughter is studying psychology. She's doing her degree in psychology, and while in high school and all of that, she did counseling, and all of this, I believe, was birthed out of my experience and her growing up hearing me counsel and help others. And so she has developed the love for the profession also, but girl taking it on a higher scale, psychologist. But anyway, but to God be the glory. They are healthy children, mind, body, and soul. So I am blessed, really, really blessed.
We have a listener comment. Have you utilized your testimony in having group discussions with others to aid in the healing process?
I have in my coaching, because I do coaching on a professional level. And yes, sometimes we have group sessions where we discuss, and even outside of the professional aspect. Because Marsha, let me tell you, our listeners, let me tell you, I do more work as a friend than on a professional level, because persons will just call who are hurt and whatever, and I don't always introduce to them the professional part. I don't always say, okay, so it is X amount for an hour or what. No. So they call, sometimes persons get my number on Facebook or whatever, and they call or message, and I take the time and I listen to them and I advise them and I pray with them or whatever. And some persons would say, oh, but that was a good opportunity to make a money. But that was not where my spirit was in the moment. God sent them over to me for help in that moment, and I was going to worry if they had money in their pocket. So yeah, I talk to friends and persons who I don't know, and we do group discussions, we do one-on-one discussions, and I feel good. I feel good that I've helped somebody. Even when I leave and I don't have a dollar in my pocket, I feel satisfied that I have helped somebody, that something that I've said has impacted somebody. So it's just a lifestyle, even though there's a professional aspect, but it's just a lifestyle right now to help anybody that I can.
And that's a feeling you get when you're definitely in purpose. Mindfulness in Ministry Masterclass says we need to connect. I'd love to show you how to marry the two and be equally effective. And of course, we have our family empowerment program that is coming online soon. So definitely UME Radio will want to, talk to you some more about that as well. God, Sister Michelle, thank you so much for sharing. Every time I hear your story, I feel so blessed, and I know I'm not the only one. Tell us, how can we support you? How can we support you?
All right. My first book, persons would have, it's not yet on Amazon. I'm working to get it on Amazon. So as soon as that is on that platform, I'll share the link. But my second book is on Amazon. You can go over and purchase my second book. I'd really love for persons to get the first one. And well, both of them, but
so they can make the connection.
A follow up for the first one. I'd really love for, if you can, to get both. There's an e-version to the book, so if you don't want the hard copy, you can also purchase the Kindle version,
the download
of the book on Amazon. So the link will be shared, and you go over and bless a sister by purchasing the book and share the book. I know not everyone will be able to purchase. So if you have it and you can share it, lend somebody the book, because each one helps one, and we're all
gift it too. If they can't buy 2 copies and pass it on to somebody, then guys, do that. Support her. Yeah, support her. Somebody's birthday is coming, something, someone who's an avid reader, or even going through the process. Then, connect. Get a copy.
One of the things that I want to beg off those who will be purchasing the book: be true to you when you read the book, because the book gives practical steps to your healing. Be true to you. Be honest with the questions that are asked in the book. Give honest responses. And if you're not ready to move on to step 2, linger at step 1. Do what needs to be done.
So there's assertiveness exercises in the book.
Yes. So I want you to, it's about your journey. It's about being honest with yourself. It's not about the period of time that somebody thinks that you're supposed to be healed. It's not about that. It's not about society saying, oh, your journey is supposed to take a week or a month. It's not about that. It's however long it takes for you, because I guarantee you that there are lessons on every leg of the journey that you are going to need when you get over, so that you can help somebody else. So learn your lessons at your pace, in your time, as long as you do get to healing.
Wow, thank you so much, Michelle, for sharing with us this morning. And remember, your story doesn't even have to be as eventful or traumatic as Michelle, because the truth is, all of us are broken at some level. And so this tool, it's not just a book, but it's actually a tool that will help you. I'm definitely getting my copy for my Kindle. Like, I already take it out. Like, I need to get it done today. Right? Support you. I'm not sure, Jessie, if you have anything else to add as we wrap up this segment.
I honestly, it was one question that I wanted to ask for people who are going through it, I know you have the book. But if you could have a last minute word of advice for either teenagers or really adults who are going through that process of brokenness and trying to find that peace or forgiveness, but having a hard time to, maybe they're not Christian themselves, they don't even have like some type of faith to hold on to. What's one last advice that you would say?
Okay. My advice is that there's nothing that takes God by surprise. And you don't have to be a Christian to acknowledge that there is a God. There's nothing that happens by chance. Nothing takes him by surprise. And so he knew that this would have happened. He allowed it to happen for a greater purpose. And I tell everybody, normal is so boring. Who wants to be normal? So there's a purpose in the pain that you're experiencing. What I want for everyone is that while you are going through, pay attention to everything that is happening. That's one. Two, be true to your emotions. So if you're angry in this minute, you're angry in this minute. Examine why you are angry. What is it that's causing it? What's the root of it? Because that's where we want to really get to. Right. What is the root of it? Who is it projected to? Who is it causing hurt to? And we want to examine all of this. But one of the things that really gave me comfort during my process is that God knew it. I am serving somebody who knew what happened, who knows what happened, and who has an end. It's already fixed. So their healing is fixed. It's just that they have to go through the process. When it comes down to forgiveness, as I said earlier, it's not for the person who hurt you. It's for you. And having the knowledge that if you don't forgive, everyone else in your life is going to be hurt by you will cause you to want to forgive.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely great. Oh, I don't want you to go.
I don't want to go either. God is amazing.
Guys, get the book. Get the book. We are out of time. We are over time, out of time. Mindfulness in Ministry says, own your truth. Yes, own your truth, and it will be your healing. That was Michelle McIntyre, author, coach, nurse, mother, and everything. And she spoke to us about her journey, which is expressed in her book, Healing of a Broken Woman. It is now 10:29, and you are still watching Weekends with Marsha J. and Jesse. And we're so thankful if you have been sitting and watching with us up to this point. We are so grateful that you took the time to be here with us this morning and to listen to the stories that we share. God bless you, Michelle. Have a great day. Jesse, what's up next?
Okay, so can we go into we have a little competition.
Yes, yes. We needed that break.
Yes.
Listen, this is why I love this show. Powerful segments. Powerful segments. Powerful segments, Jessie.
Was a lot. I know we're gonna do our little. I mean, if you guys are new, you don't know, we have a DJ competition. That is fun, it's lighthearted, but we take it very seriously here at UME
Yes, it's
Radio.
lightheartedly serious, people. Let me put my eye to the chat. It's lightheartedly serious, okay?
So guys, if you guys don't know, head over to umeradio.com and vote for your favorite DJ playlist, DJ Jessie, just saying. And yeah, you just gotta put that 5-star and then vote button. Yep, that's
Click.
simple as that. Yep.
Yes, you go over to our website, umeradio.com/DJ-top5. And we have rearranged the settings. So just to kind of walk you through that for the second week, we started last week. Just to remind you, once you log in, all the DJs of the station, DJ Kelly, DJ Marsha J, DJ KTE, Lady Misty, and Jessie, we all choose 5 songs for the week that we know will be a blessing to you. Naturally, too, because we're a radio station. And so we try to compete to see who has the most votes where that is concerned. Do not be afraid to inbox any one of us. Of course, you can inbox me at official Marsha J on Instagram. For Jessie, it's ink.jess. Let us know the songs if you like them or not, and if you have a suggested song that you want us to feature. So once you're on the site, you can go ahead, fill out the relevant information, and vote. It also has on the page, once you select your DJ, it goes down to their selected songs for that particular week. So share with us. Let us know. So we're looking at some playlists. That's DJ Kelly, that's Lady Misty, DJ Marsha J, and we have the others. You can go in and just enjoy great music. I bet you that you're going to even find some artists and some songs that you did not even know existed, because some of us have a playlist that is just stale. Can I just put that out there? No disrespect to your playlist, guys, but you need to freshen it up. Take a walk over to umeradio.com and vote. So Jessie, tell me what is on your list this week. Download the UME Radio app from your Play Store. Yes, you can vote also from the app. Let's do it, guys. Jessie, go ahead.
All right. So I got You Are Worthy by Tope Alabi. If you guys don't know, she is an African artist. I absolutely love it. Then I have Hold Me Close by, if you don't know him, he's an up-and-coming gospel singer, Kalante Gavin. If you haven't heard of him, go check him out. He's really, really good. Third up, I have Do It Again by Evie McKenney. She was awesome. She actually was on the show The Four when it was out a couple of years ago, and she won the first season. So she's a beautiful song called Do It Again. Fourth up is Anyhow by Ty Tribbett. And last up is Yahweh by Jokia.
Yeah, thank you for that, Jessie. I see a comment coming in from Keith. Hi, Keith. Good morning. We see you. He says, I am hearing a lot more on coaching these days. What's the major difference as it relates to coaching and counseling? I'm just sharing my opinion, and we know we had Coach on this morning, and she can answer either now or next week. That's fine. But I feel like coaching is more of the practical steps, counseling is more of the mind, the psychology of healing, and coaching is like get up and do it or else,
right? Yeah,
kind of thing. So that's my understanding. Please do not quote me. I am not a counseling or coaching professional. Just putting that out there. Jesse, you can give your 2 cents before I go on to my list for this week.
Yeah. So for me, I have counseled other people, like students and stuff like that, and I'm taking a coaching lesson.
Right.
Writing. And when it comes to coaching, like you said, they kind of give you like a blueprint, and they're like, okay, this is what you got to do. This is, if you want to do a business, you want to do this. Okay, you want to start this. This is how the way to go about it and my success. And it's up to you to take that, because they have it there for you, but it's up to you to want to put in the work. Counsel is kind of like they kind of guide you and work with you and really go through and dig deep and personalize it to you on that level. So that's what my take on coaching versus counseling.
And thank you. And to put the icing on the cake, we have Coach Raquel in the room. Hi, Coach. Go ahead, share your views.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
thanks for
great.
coming back.
Thank you. So I have training I actually have an associate's in counseling, and I have my certification in coaching. So I'll share with you my understanding of the difference as well as what I was taught. So counseling helps you understand why something happens, the reasons behind something. It unearths. So counseling is where you go to sit down and ask why and try to unearth the reason behind, right? How did this happen? Why did that happen? So it's understanding the psychology of things, the mental processing, why it is happening. So it's mostly buried in the past. It's mostly in past conversation. I don't know if any of you have been a part of my course where I talk about you have present, past, and future conversation.
Yes.
Right. So it doesn't mean that you only talk about the past as in years ago. It means that whenever you are in the moment where you're having past conversation about something, the counselor helps you understand that, right? Now, a coach is something completely different. A coach is an accountability partner. A coach is someone who disrupts patterns so you don't repeat the things of the past, right? So the coach helps you deal with your present and your future. So you after you do your counseling and you figure out where am I now, then you gain some insight into where you want to go. Then you need a coach to help you do that. And sometimes you need a coach to help you gain the insight you need as to where do I go now? How do I go from here? Now that I understand all of this why and all of this has happened to me, how do I now take my pain and package it for purpose and achieve the targets that I want? And they hold you accountable to those targets. So your coach is not necessarily like sometimes persons come to me and they're thinking one thing, but as though they think I should be counseling them. But there's a reason I don't do counseling anymore, because I learned pretty quickly after practicing it for, I think it's like 6 months I had to do internship for. And after that, I couldn't do it because I remember I had a student that was suicidal. I had 2 students who were suicidal, and I couldn't help them because I wasn't being a good counselor. I wanted to coach them, you know? So it's different. It's completely different. I hope that helped.
Yes, it did. Thank you so much for giving us that clarity, Keith. I hope you heard that, and I hope that was clear for you. All right. So I'm going to jump into my list for this week, and let's just put it out there. Music is therapy for me. I don't know about anybody else, not just because I'm a musician at heart, but through some of the toughest times, you know, music has been my companion. And so even for me, when I choose these songs, I don't just randomly pick songs off of YouTube. They have to speak to me first before I actually even recommend them to people, or even if I sing covers on any particular platform. If the music doesn't speak to me, then I can't pass them on. So first on my list this week is a very high energy song by Israel Houghton featuring Chevelle Franklin, who is a Jamaican artist, right? It's called Winner. Oh, listen, when you turn this song on, you are going to be in such a mood, high energy mood. Awesome. And I also love Tasha Cobbs, who is an international recording artist, and she has this song called I Will Run. And this motivational song, it says, I will run the race set before me. I will seek your face as the prize of my life. The lyrics are absolutely Awesome. Then we have popular Todd Delaney doing a smash up with Shayna Wilson. And this worship song is called King of Glory. Fill this place. I just want to be with you. And I absolutely love being my intimate moments with God. And I think this song was just designed to bring you right in. Then we have Brian Courtney. A lot of young people may not know about him. I'm not saying he's old school either, but he's just one of those artists that I think do not get enough push that they deserve. Mm-hmm. He does this song that says, I'll just say yes. And this song just brings you into a moment of commitment to God, because after a while on the journey, you forget your why, you forget your yes. And this song just kind of takes you there. And last but by no means least, I have William Murphy, and he does this worship song that just says, settle here. And how many of us this morning just want the presence of God to just set? I started playing my own list this morning before I came on the show, and I felt like I just wanted to turn my face to the ground and just worship. It's just one of those moments where just say, God, just come on in, take a seat, let your glory just be here. And that's my top 5 list for this morning. Yeah. Keith says, Apostle says, thanks for the clarity as well. Coach versus counseling. We're glad we could help, guys. Glad we could help with the clarity. So next, Jessie, what do we have?
We do have a little spotlight of Google Workplace. So if you guys don't know, Google Workplace helps our team work faster and more efficiently. From Gmail, I do use that, to Docs, to Google Drive. I use all of that. It's a fully integrated way to work. Google Workspace is offering a 14-day trial. Sign up using our link on our website at umeradio.com or use any of these discounts. Now, excuse me, guys. Oh, I think it's my tea that I've been having. It's just, excuse me, bubbling up. But the discounts, we have 2 of them. So we have Google Workplace Business Starter. This one's promotion code for the United States expires May. So expires next month, guys. So one code is, ready? You're gonna write this down. It is RAQWRXCRWEMF99. That is code number 1 that you guys could use. And it's going to be right up on the screen there. Yep. And the second one is 63PTQ. And each of these codes provides you with 10% off the first year of either the Google Workplace Business Starter Plan and the Google Workplace Standard Starter Plan. So one, you could use it for either the starter, or the second one, you could use it for the standard. So go to umeradio.com and click the link in the description below and check it out. And if you could put up the codes one more time for people to see up. So right there. And also, it's also, if you're on YouTube, in the description box down below, also there.
Yes, it is. And of course, everybody uses Google Space, right? We're using it right now for our script, so but you just want to know that having a professional standard for your business or your brand is critical. And we know that definitely to get the best, we have to pay for it, but doesn't mean that we can't get a discount while we're pursuing that. All right. We have with us today inside our Because We Can segment, Minister Sebastian Braham. So, because we can, Philanthropy is important because it provides opportunities. Philanthropy supports projects and endeavors that may be too unpopular or controversial to gain the widespread support of the general public or even the government. For this reason, philanthropy or charity is a very important part of a democratic society. Now, Sebastian does charity on the North Coast, and he has been doing it for a very long time. He is a son of the soil over there in St. Anne, Jamaica. His talents include singing and songwriting, and those gifts are undeniable. And of course, we want to dive into this side of his ministry. Pleasant morning to you, Mr. Braham, and thank you for coming. How are you?
I am good. Thanks so much for having me. And how are you doing?
I'm feeling fabulous. Essie, how are you doing? It's a pleasure to have you on the program this morning. It's not normal to have young people do charity work. And the testimony is you have been doing it for a very long time. Where did this love for charity come from?
I remember some years ago, I started hosting my own shows, and over the years, God has been truly good to me, and He has blessed me in so many ways. And I remember from that, I started to think, how can I give back somehow to really bless others? And I remember wherever I would go, I would look for opportunities, and throughout my concerts, wherever I go, wherever I host shows across the island of Jamaica, I always make sure that whatever I make, I always, through my church visit a children's home every November. And no matter what, I would always try to give back something from my events to bless the children's homes, to whether something helps somehow. And that's how pretty much I started in charity.
Thank you for that. The saying goes that charity begins at home, and I'm so happy that you mentioned that your church actually started that. And I'm reading some comments here in YouTube, and it's saying charity is very popular in Jamaica. Actually, I definitely can agree with that. When you decided to, because I realized, especially during the pandemic, talk to us about what has been happening in terms of your heart posture and what God has been saying to you about charity, especially during C19.
I remember I was some of my friends overseas, they reached out to me, and surprisingly I did not ask them, but I remember about 3 or 4 reached out to me, and they gave me a specific task. I was supposed to be hosting a luncheon, and they said, Sebastian, I want to donate. And funny enough, I did not ask them to donate, but they all messaged me, and they said the same thing. And they said, Sebastian, I want to donate 5 tickets. I want to donate 10 tickets. I want to donate 5 different persons. And they said to me that we want you to feed the homeless. So I said, I didn't turn them down. I said, okay, because I know that I would be busy for that day. And I said, okay. And they sent the contribution, and I managed to prepare some food on that day, and I asked some of my friends to drop them off to like homeless persons on the street. I was given that task, and they did that. Somehow I did not get to do everything. And I said, okay, the next day, so the day after the luncheon now, prepare some more stuff. And I said, okay, let's do something for them to see that I actually did what they asked. And I remember I went out for that day, and I prepared some, don't remember the exact amount, but when I was doing it, it brought such a good feeling to me at the time. It was supposed to be a one-time only thing. Because I know if we weren't in this pandemic going on, I would be traveling and so forth. So I wouldn't have the time to do such venture right now. Yes. So I remember doing it. It brought such a wonderful feeling to me, and I remember I came upon some persons and they were searching for food in the garbage bin, and I called them over and I was able to provide them with a hot meal
Hold
with
on,
a juice as well.
before you continue,
Yeah,
Sebastian, it's interesting you should say that, because
yeah.
in one of the local newspapers in Jamaica, they actually did a vox pop with persons who were homeless. And do you know what the comment was? The pandemic had it so bad, I can't even find food in the garbage pan to eat.
Wow.
Wow.
So it's interesting that you should say that, but continue.
Yes, and I remember, yes, I came across some persons, they were going through the bin, and I said, nah, it just didn't leave a good feeling with me. And I said, and I called them over and I offered them a hot meal and a drink. And the look on their face, they were so appreciative. And I was there and I stood there, I was talking to one or two persons, and it, I left home that day, and it was such a good feeling. I went home, I went out, and I was feeling so happy and knowing that I could bless someone and I could provide someone with a hot meal. And but when I came home, I felt so depressed because
Wow.
I was saying like, what would happen to them the next day and the day after? And what if I didn't show up? They would be just going through the bin, searching for a hot meal, searching for a meal instead, and anything that they could come across. And the persons that came along with me, I think two of my church family came along with me, and I said to them, I would love to continue this, and they were so supportive. They said, yes, we would love to join you. And from that day, I continued. Some persons came on board and they helped me with contribution to buy the items and so forth. And that's how I was able to, and I make up from my mind from that day that at least twice per month, because it's costly to really prepare the everything and to go out. And from that time until now, I make up my mind that I at least twice per month, if I'm able to more than that, I would love to go out. And there are weeks that I wish I had it from my own pocket to really go out there. But persons bless me from that day to say, okay, we will assist you now and then. And whenever I can, I do it from my own pocket. But from I left there that day, I went out so happy to do a good deed. But upon arriving at this different situation, I came home back depressed. I left happy, came home depressed. And I was so happy that I could help, that I decided from that day that I would continue. No matter what I'm doing, I would always take the time out to go out and do a good deed and to do that specific program every 2 weeks if possible.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm just going to take some comments, Jesse. What are they saying over there in the comments?
Yeah, so Apostle, one Facebook user asked, where in St. Anne? My mother is from St. Anne.
I am from Runner Base in St. Anne.
Okay. Apostle Faith Walter says, charity is my mantra. It is a lifestyle. The Bible says it's better to give than to receive. There's a unique blessing in it. Knowing that you've helped someone, it gives you a wonderful feeling. Ministry Masterclass says, God bless you. May he continue overflowing your cup. And Go Inspire Jamaica Foundation says, it is so heartbreaking when you feel helpless to help them, but God sends the right people on time.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And definitely, Sebastian, we want to salute you for what it is that you're doing, your natural inclination. Most persons in Jamaica would know you as a very popular recording artist. And to see you not just on the stage declaring God, but actually doing the legwork of ensuring that persons are fed. I know some persons that are watching right now, they understand what it feels like to be hungry. And hunger pains are not nice pains, and they lead to even more dangerous health issues and so on. So we just want to salute you here at UME Radio Weekends on the job that you are doing. Let us know, how can we collaborate with you? How can we support what it is that you do?
Okay, to everyone listening on Facebook, you can reach me at Sebastian Braham. If you are in Instagram, you can message me at Sebastian Braham. Sorry. And you can contact me if you can at 876-885-1055. You can call or WhatsApp that number. That's 876-885-1055. And you can call or WhatsApp me in that number. And you will reach me directly.
Awesome, awesome. And whatever love gift you have, we encourage you to support, especially when I see men, Jesse, when I see Black men doing things, I am just so proud to be a person of color because it's not all about being a crab in a barrel, but there are those men that are out there and they have a heart, first of all, because I could actually feel your emotions through what it is you were saying, and they don't just feel and think, but they do. Thank you so much, Sebastian. And we're definitely going to have you back because we know you have another event that's coming up where persons will also have the opportunity to get extra or to give for those who are on the street. But for now, thank you so much. And we really appreciate you stopping by weekends this morning. God bless
Thanks
you.
So much for having me. God bless you.
All right. So that was Sebastian Braham. On Facebook, he's Sebastian Braham. On Instagram, it's at Sebastian Braham. And you can reach out to him at 876-885-1055. Jesse, accountability is important. I love the fact that he took pictures as proof to those persons to say, hey, I didn't just take your money, but this is what I did with it. Amazing. 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 All right. We are winding down, Jesse. It's 10:58. We can't do everything that we had in store. We're going to have to give up something this morning. Woman says, God bless you. God bless you. Now we're going to have to choose, Jesse.
All right. We could do our competition or we got a photo of the day. That's
going to take some time. I think we should do the pick of the day because we only have 2 minutes.
2 minutes,
And let's do that. Our pick of the day was submitted by a listener, and she was on here earlier. Her name is Miss Bev, and Miss Bev, she is in the hotel industry, and she's scared of needles, but she did a little comic strip about her experience with taking the vaccine. The first one says, Lord have mercy, really, Lord. And that was at the point of her getting her vaccine. And then afterwards, she proudly says, I got through it. Thank God. How many of you out there are afraid of needles? Jesse, you are in the medicine field. Talk to us. Men versus women. Who is more scared of the needles? Let's talk.
Oh, men. I think men. And in just in the medical field in general, I think men are a big babies with a lot of stuff.
Are they?
Men are the ones that tend to complain more. As far as needles, me personally, I'm good. My only thing is sometimes I can't see it like initially go in, like that initial go in. But once it's there, I'm good like looking at it. They're like, you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I just can't see it initially. But I don't know if that's because I had to take allergy shots for 2 years. So I was used to and it was like inside muscle. Yeah. So I'm good.
Look here, I don't like it, and I have to take shots every year and blood tests for different things. But after a while, really and truly do. Whether you get it on your rump or in your hand or somewhere else, or like my dad is a diabetic, so he has to get shots every day. And even though he has been doing it for the past year, he still closes his eyes, He doesn't give himself the shot. He has to have someone else do it. Yes. So I get it, but we're working towards getting him off those shots and things. Listen, thank you so much for joining us today. We trust that you were inspired, motivated, and educated. To all our guests, to our support team, thank you so much for making today's show what it was. We want you to join us next week, same time, same place, right here on Weekends with
Marsha
Marsha
J
and Jesse. Hold on, before we go, Apostle says, I never like being jabbed. I still look away and close my eyes tight. I agree with you, Apostle. I don't like to look at needles when I'm getting injections either. Absolutely. Lovely day, Jesse. Enjoy your weekend, guys. And we will see you next week. Bye now.
Bye, guys.
AAL. And follow me, Marsha J, on all social media platforms at official Marsha J. Or you can just check out marshajnow.com.
Weekends on UME Radio with Marsha J and Jesse.
Amplifying the voice of positive influencers.
UME Radio. Positive entertainment 24/7. Subscribe on YouTube and click the notification bell. Weekends on UME Radio. Get the UME Radio app.